Yeah, Lee Sin, one of those strong jungle picks, has a high skill ceiling as well. And one of the champions who's really fun to play against if you can play it well. Maokai is going to be banned on the other side. And, just again, taking away these strong junglers. And, Maokai is one of those top picks right now.
Yeah, Mako definitely going to be taken off the board. Is going to get nerfed next patch, but does not seem to matter for Moonstone Gaming Comp Rule Edition. I'm probably going to call them CRE just to make that a little bit more efficient. But the immediate Ash ban followed by the Seraphine, it's just going to mean that these teams wanted to play pretty standard. They don't want any cheese. They don't want anything too broken on the board. Nameless Echo has some picks that they really don't want to play against. It seems that they're trying to avoid getting picked off by champions like that Bard and like that Lee Sin. And Seraphine is a nice standard ban just because it really allows you to build potentially off of a strong pick comp yourself. She has that great sustain and great ability to disengage with her encore, but we're going to see what goes on here as Moonstone is definitely taking away those really strong meta picks that are allowing teams to catch out their opponents, slow them, keep them in place. And I expect something like that. Yep. Another one like that taken off the board. It is going to be the Sejuani, which does leave picks like the Caitlyn up if Nameless Echo are interested in that at all. It also leaves champions like Karma, which are pretty stable, strong bot laners at this point in the game. So let's see what Nameless Echo decides to go with first. They do have 10 seconds to make their pick, and it is going to potentially be that Caitlyn as they are hovering it. I'm not going to get baited, but if it is going to be that Caitlyn, it's going to be a very strong pushing bot lane for Nameless Echo, and I expect to see some hard engage followed up from Moonstone.
Yeah, absolutely. Kaylin right now is in a very good spot. I think just with the range that she has, she's able to bully a lot of lanes, and actually was introduced to just building Kraken on Kaylin today, and it feels like you do so much damage with that Kraken build. So I don't know if we'll see that today. That's a bit more of a niche type of adaptation there, but we are going to see Varus picked on the other side here for Moonstone.
Yeah, it definitely is a great answer to the Caitlyn. It has the counter push. If Varus decides to go for a more poke style build, it also is good range matching against the Caitlyn. But yeah, I mean that Kraken Slayer build definitely is something that Caitlyn can go these days. Just being able to do that little bit of extra true damage. But with the Maokai and the Sejuani taken off the board, it definitely lets Caitlyn have a little bit more freedom. I say as Udyr is locked
Ooh.
in, and I'm immediately made to take back what I said. She is not really going to be able to have the space to sort of hit that she would like if she had Kraken. So maybe something like a Gale Force might be a little bit more secure for her. But Varus Udyr definitely a strong 1-2 as they have a lot of zone control between the two of them. And speaking of zone control, Lux is the hover for Nameless Echo, a great pairing with Caitlyn and a potential flex to the mid lane, although not as popular these days. But definitely looking to get some push onto that bot side there. And I'd really like to see if Nameless can come up with a strong jungler here that is able to clear and look for dives under this bot lane tower with the pressure that they've decided to draft there.
Yeah, I think Zach could be a good pick here just because, another chimp that's really strong and can make those dives bottom lane with relative ease. Jarvan also another good one. But it looks like Lilia is gonna be the pick here. And not exactly what I was thinking, but I think there's still a lot of potential with Lilia.
Yeah, Lilia, it's definitely seeming as though Keddy is sort of picking more for themselves here with that pick. Trust their bot lane to pick, the Caitlyn Lux, but is really kind of try and match the clear speed of that Udyr. It's definitely an interesting method to go for because you're sort of just understanding that your bot lane is going to push. But as a champion like Lilia, you're not going to be able to commit to the bot side as much as you would with a champion like maybe Elise or Lee Sin or Jarvan, just because you do have to be getting those camps off of rotation, or Lilia can get outscaled pretty quickly. But seeing that Lilia, the Nautilus has responded with by Moonstone Gaming, which actually is pretty interesting. It is sort of that hard engage that we talked about when the Caitlyn was locked in. And it is sort of a counter pick to that Caitlyn Lux, because if they push forward a little bit too far, Nautilus can always be there to immediately snap them up and start a good fight. That the Varus and the Udyr can very much so jump in on and pose a lot of trouble for that bot lane. But
Yep.
moving into second phase bans.
Jungle, what we think is jungle and bottom lane picked in the first rotations for both of these teams here. And expect some solo lane bans in these final two. Gangplank taken off the table. Camille as well, the response from Nameless here. And I think more of the times you see top laners banned rather than mid laners, just because top lane is very volatile. It can swing very quickly if you have an unfavorable matchup. So I do expect to see some more of those top lane bans here. And interestingly enough, like you kind of mentioned with this Nautilus pick, it does sort of dispel a little bit of the pressure that Nameless's bottom lane has. You can't overextend. You have to be a little bit more careful because you can get hit with that Nautilus R. And with pairing that up with Chain of Corruption from Varus, you can get one shot real quick.
Yeah, looking at these second phase bans, Moonstone is really trying to keep the scaling out of Nameless Echo's hands with that GP and with that Orn ban. I'm curious to see if Nameless Echo is going to take something the board that matches that intent, but it could potentially be that Ari. Um, and so actually, I do like this
Oh,
adaptation from Echo because they're taking away the Camille and the Ari, which means that they understand that with the champions that they've picked so far, they are vulnerable to potentially getting engaged on by some high mobility champions like those two that they have banned. Um, and so they're looking to try and potentially draft as well some more frontline for this Caitlyn Lux to hit later on into the game. But Moonstone is going to be looking to blind. And with those two top bans, I expect a top lane blind pick to come out here.
yeah. No, okay. Wow. Fiora is the pick from Moonstone. You don't often see Fiora picked in competitive games, but
Definitely not.
it is, yeah, definitely not blind, but it's gonna be interesting here with real Giannis taking that up into the top lane. We'll see what the answer is from Nameless. Any ideas?
Into the Fiora, I'm kind of interested to see something maybe like a Kasante or a Gragas, just something standard to lock it down in the top lane. Um, something solid to lock it down in the top lane. That is certainly one of those answers right there. I was curious to see, yeah, because Nameless Echo needed frontline, and they needed a bit of engage as well to set up for that Lilia, Lux, and Caitlyn. Malphite certainly is that option that they could go for. Is going to suffer a little bit against the Fiora. Granted, it's a little bit hard to parry a melee range unstoppable force, um, but the Fiora could potentially be parrying those rolling rocks. I don't remember what his Q is called exactly. I don't think that's what it is, but is certainly a good matchup. And Yasuo is going to be the
Whoa.
Rumpo combo option for Nameless Echo. They've certainly turned a pushing a pushing team comp into a very hard engage comp against Moonstone, and I think that Moonstone's comp is actually set up fairly okay into what Nameless Echo have shown so far, and he is going to be the lock-in, which is going to be actually a very nice matchup into the Yasuo. He does have that wind wall, but Annie has multiple options to play in this lane, and it's actually a very nice answer to the Lilia as her. I don't quite know exactly how her new shield works, but I know that it is very nice into poke champions. Um, but it's going to be interesting to go in because we have a lot of hard engage from both sides, as well as some very interesting team fight compositions. The split advantage is definitely going to be in favor of Moonstone Gaming with that Fiora. But other than that, I think both teams actually have built out fairly decent compositions for themselves.
Yeah, I going back to the Annie, I believe it works kind of like Ramus W, where if you get hit, it kind of gives some of that damage back to the person who is attacking, and you can also put it on other people now, which is I believe that changed this season. So that's something that's pretty interesting there. You mentioned about the split push for Moonstone. I think the biggest thing when picking split push compositions is, are they able to actually execute it? A lot of the times we see a team or an org try to go for split pushing comps, and the four who are not split pushing get caught over and over again overextending. So will Moonstone be able to, play this split push comp in the correct way? I think that's going to be a big factor in this game.
Well, yeah, the biggest thing about having a Fiora on the split is, can the four members of your team lock it down and not get engaged on by the potential five man that your opponents will be throwing at you. And with champions like Udyr, Nautilus, and Annie, I can definitely see a world where they're able to disengage a Malphite Yasuo combo enough to the point where Fiora will be able to split push. But realistically, it's going to be on the real Giannis to be able to make this game happen for Moonstone and sort of show the benefit or show sort of um, the better champion that Fiora is than Malphite. Because if they're able to do that, I imagine it could be a stomp for Moonstone. But realistically, any team that gets snowballing in this game will have the advantage.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have a hard engaged team comp, and we have a team comp that is pretty good at disengaging and also finding those picks. So it's just going to be down to the execution. I think either way, it'll be an interesting one, and they're flying through this draft. This is the quickest draft I've seen in a while.
They want to get into this game. I know you guys can't see it in chat, but these players are locking their champions in as if they have a gun to their head. But you know, I'm really excited to get into this. It's week 2. We haven't gotten to see what Moonstone Gaming has got so far this season, and this is an exciting draft for them, and really is going to give them the opportunity to show off the skills that these individual players have. Um, I know. I mean, I don't have a favorite going into this draft. I know that
And we are on to the Rift for game number 1 between Nameless Echo and Moonstone Gaming. We got some action earlier as
Ooh,
both
we are
teams
up and running.
making a 5-man to this bottom side. We'll see if anything comes out of this, but it looks like Moonstone's gonna make their way into the jungle through the tribe brush
It
and
was ships
completely
passing in the
miss.
night. It was ships passing in the
Wow.
night. They didn't see each other. I don't know if we caught that on stream, but I just toggled my vision and neither team saw the other one. So this is this could have been a very spicy level 1, but instead, actually, it still might be a very spicy level 1, as Moonstone is just gonna drop that ward. They are searching for Nameless. A very
Yeah,
cautious retreat. A very
I
cautious
don't think they'll
retreat.
find anything.
No, they won't, but they will have a somewhat decent ward. It's not really the best ward. It'll see if anyone enters the camp on that red side there, but um, Moonstone will definitely have more information going into this early game than Nameless Echo will. But both junglers will be starting on their respective blue buffs, which is going to be interesting because it means that this Udyr is going to be pathing towards the melee lane of Malphite versus Fiora, which is actually kind of what we talked about in draft, right? We talked about how this Fiora is going to have to perform very hard in this game to really create an advantage for Moonstone Gaming. Ketty is going to have a very slow first buff, not really a great leash coming from Lost Cause. I don't even know if they were able to get a leash. Hook going just wide from the Nautilus there as they get massively traded onto. And that's something that we're going to be seeing a lot of this game is going to be Caitlyn, Lux abusing that range that they have. And while it is good for Udyr to go towards that top side and help the Fiora, it's going to be very painful for their bot lane to just exist in this lane. And without the Udyr to relieve that pressure, we could be seeing a whole lot of pain come the Moonstone bot lane's way.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when they're being pushed in like this and they're outranged in the melee versus ranged matchup. Melee is always going to have a tough time in the early just because they're going to be getting poked out like that. Another bind connects, but already you can see this early shove in, and Nameless is getting their way in this bottom lane so far. Both junglers have found the other side of their jungle on the reds, and we'll see if Guo is actually able to do anything in this top side. It doesn't look like it because Giannis is pushed in, but we'll see.
Yeah, Ro definitely has the faster clear, and we'll see what they're able to do with this time differences. Annie is taking a massive trade in this mid lane, has no more mana to trade back onto Drat, but, you know, does have the wave coming towards them, which means that we'll be okay and could potentially set up a nice gank for the Udyr coming in. But we talked about the Udyr pathing up, and with just a straight up clear speed difference that the Udyr has over Lilia, he will be able to make it all the way back down towards this bot side crab and still be able to provide support for the bot lane.
Yeah, both junglers are in this bottom side now here, so I expect that we're going to fight over this crab, but should be all Nameless just based on the wave priorities. And Guo might be in trouble here. Going to get a stun on to Drat, but we'll be able to get out without an issue.
Yeah, it doesn't have flash on that Udyr, but it doesn't really matter too much as the Udyr is fairly tanky early on in this game, and with no jungler having smite to contest that bot crab, it goes the way of Nameless because they did have so much prio on that bot side there. We're going to take their back first after picking up that top side crab means that Ketty does potentially have a look onto this bot side there. as we have some trading going on in the top lane, but is not spotted out underneath his
Gank.
bot side tower, as we could see. Ooh, hold on, gank going on the top side.
Coming in. Whoa, going on to Lost Cause. Gonna get stunned up. Giannis taking pretty low, but not going to be enough there. As first blood, it goes over to Giannis, but in this bottom lane, we got a dive coming down as Guo Dylan has to run for the hills. Kenny taking really low, Ignite ticking, but it's not going to be enough, and the tower is able to finish off Boyfriend. So overall, across the map, 2 kills to 0 for Moonstone, and another hook lands onto Polo. Has to
Kenny,
run.
I don't know about this one.
Yeah, Kenny needs to run here.
Yeah, I mean, a disaster early game for Nameless Echo here. Lost Cause is not going to be allowed to hold that wave in front of their tower, but gets taken down by the Udyr and Fiora. Guo doing a good job to, stop their back and realize the position that the top lane was in. And just a misdive coming out from Nameless Echo means that a very nice kill goes over to the Nautilus. They did force out Varus's flash, however, on that early attempt there, but Kenny getting a little bit overzealous trying to go for that play, and Boyfriend just not quite playing it safe enough around that Nautilus hook means that Nameless Echo comes out behind on this play, and Moonstone has a very nice lead in this early game.
Already
yeah.
900 gold lead for Moonstone.
That's going to be really painful, and we can see Guo taking advantage of this fully, right? Does have that giant spell and is going to be immediately starting on their wolves, pathing down towards the bot side to try and abuse the fact that their bot lane does have a lead. Granted, the gold didn't go onto the Varus on that bot side, so realistically for them, it was just a bump in experience as well as a loss of their flash. But we could potentially see an early dragon startup from this Udyr if the bot lane crashes.
Uh-oh. Nautilus gonna get rooted up. That's a lot of CC and a lot of damage. Another trap comes through. One more auto from the flash. Pola connects. Boyfriend now taking really low. Chung with the recall BM as Guo is also here. Bind connects. More damage coming through. Pillar for Peacemaker's not enough. But look at Ketty on the corner. Ketty is looking for it. Does not have the flash. Instead gonna go onto Guo. Udyr is a bit tanky, so not gonna be able to take him out, as now Ovio is on the flank as well, has the flash, looking for Tibbers. Tibbers connects onto Boyfriend, damage comes through. Chong is 1 HP. The health bars are minimal here, and the snipe comes through from Chong, finds Boyfriend on that bottom side, and another kill going over to, actually a kill is going over to both AD carries in that play.
Yeah, so a very nice pickup of kills coming out from both AD carries here as Lost Cause could potentially punish real Giannis for not having the parry anymore with the unstoppable force up, but a very nice roam coming out from the Annie means that they get an extra kill on that bot side there, and a very nice chain of CC coming out from Pola and Boyfriend means that they're able to take out the Nautilus on the side of Moonstone Gaming. And it's a little bit unfortunate for this Annie, right? Because they were walking down, but they tried to cast spells. I believe it was on the Lux, but was out of range of the ability, and therefore stopped their movement, or like started getting into the auto/cast animation and had to stop the animation. Yeah, and was stutter stepping, which meant that they weren't able to actually land the Tibbers onto both members. Real Giannis actually is very much in trouble here. It does not get engaged on fully by Lost Cause. I'm not quite sure why this Malphite is holding the unstoppable force when real Giannis does not have the parry up any longer. I know the Fiora does have flash, but when they're outside the tower there, could have easily gone for that kill. Maybe is a little bit worried that someone could be in the river, but is instead going to walk up to the Fiora and try and deny the wave. Hold on.
Hook lands, double root comes in from Boyfriend. A lot of damage created back, but now Guo is on the wraparound. We'll see if they opt to go for this bottom lane gank here, as Lost Cause still being relentless on that top side. I don't think anything. They might look to dive here. They have Nautilus ulti.
Yeah, I sense the disaster incoming.
Level 5 on Nameless here. Ping gonna find the depth charge. Knock up onto 2. Taking the tower very nicely. And the final auto is gonna come from Chong to secure that kill. Second kill for the Boris. And another hook lands. But Ping hits the trap and is gonna go trade it back 1 for 1. But the double kill comes in now for Chong. And this Varus is online.
And that's incredibly worth your Moonstone Gaming. That is a very nice trade of kills and wave that you will take 9 times out of 10. That could have been maybe a little bit cleaner. I saw Chong sort of walking away from under the tower even when the Nautilus was tanking it, which meant that they missed out on a little bit of DPS that could have meant that the Nautilus could have survived that second gank. And Ketty is not going to throw that lilting lullaby after landing it on the Fiora, but I'm kind of curious as to why there's so much hesitation trying to finish off this Fiora. Now with, now with the Nautilus up here, definitely could seem a little bit troublesome to try and go towards that kill, but I think they're afraid of parry a little bit too much, because even if Fiora parries the Lilting Lullaby and doesn't fall asleep, Nautilus can respond, with the flash ulti and really look to take down this Fiora, who's gonna be a problem later on and really should be stopped now when they have the chance. But Best Friend and Pola looking to push off the Varus and maybe get a plate or two. And Ketty is responding towards this bot side aggression.
Oh, Herald.
With a Herald.
Herald as well here. This tower's gonna go down.
It's actually, it's going to be close. Remember, Herald doesn't do 2 full plates anymore. It does a plate and a half, which means that there is enough time for Nautilus to respond. Ooh.
Oh, wow. Final Spark just to get a lot of chip damage on to Ping there. And yeah, you're right. Tower does live for the time being on about 350 HP.
Yeah, I mean, just very close to being a disaster there for Moonstone. If Pola was a little bit more brave and stepped forward to drop that trap, could have potentially caught Ping in a very nice CC chain, but is instead going to just play it safe and go for this tower takedown after the wave has crashed, and that will be first tower gold for this Caitlyn Lux combination. And that's sort of what you want to be doing if you are this bot lane for Nameless Echo. You want to be playing towards the Caitlyn. You want to be using her superior range to push and poke and take tower plates. And so let's see what Pola and Boyfriend do now. I would like to see them move to the mid lane and rotate Drat towards this bot side to start catching waves that Chong pushes into the bot tower. But realistically, they could go towards top lane too and start trying to chip on that tower. And it does look like that's going to be the case here as we see Lost Cause starting to recall. But it's going to be interesting, right? I want to take a quick look at the gold, right? Because even though that tower is taken by the Caitlyn and the Lux, they're only up about 60 gold on the Varus, which means that realistically, this Caitlyn is going to be on par with Varus later on in this game, and it's not going to have the damage advantage that they would like moving into the mid game.
Yeah, and just overall looking at the game here, we got about a 400 gold lead for Nameless Echo, and it looks a bit weird. Oh, Ketty gonna get collapsed on here. This could be rough as well. Gets the stun in. Ketty secures the Gromp and will flash out to safety, but look at Nameless. They are rotating to this play. They have numbers advantage for now. As the depth charge comes through, Ketty is in trouble, taken very low here. Final Spark is going to find 1 kill as Drowsy will be on to 2. Giannis gets a nice parry as OVO is in the area now. Guo taking a 1 HP, Ignite's ticking, going to go down as Drought's going to find the kill. Giannis in the backline now trying to take down Polo, and Will gets the big kill. Boyfriend's going to fall as well here, and Giannis is trying to take down Drat. Drat in the 1v3 now has to run for the hills as the numbers advantage for Moonstone comes through clutch there.
Yeah, and it's a little bit unfortunate. Moonstone was able to, slink around the vision that Nameless had, and so when that fight started, Nameless only thought it was the Udyr in that jungle there, but we're rudely surprised. Oh, here comes the unstoppable force.
Woo. Oh, but Ping with the flash hook in. Rihanna's 1 HP, but will survive as Lost Cause goes down under the tower.
Oh, it's a disaster for Lost Cause. You held your ultimate for so long in this game. You saw the opportunity onto real Giannis, but it wasn't enough. Uh-oh. Varus could get caught here. Does have flash. Is going to try and trade on Pola.
Chung in the middle of 3. He is not long for this world. Taking the trading damage back very well here, but the 700 gold shutdown is going to go over to Ketty on this Lilia.
Yeah, Lilia getting a nice, a nice investment from that Varus kill. I would have liked to have seen that shutdown go onto the Caitlyn. But Ketty picking it up as, sort of the sole user, or sorry, the sole AP carry. Lux sort of has some, but, the sole AP carry with gold income is going to be, a nice investment. Lilia is going to be finishing up that Demonic Embrace and is now on par with Udyr on items. But looking at the way that this game is unfolding so far, I'm kind of surprised sort of at how well Moonstone Gaming has been able to consolidate their gold, right? We have real Giannis with 3 kills. We have, the Varus Chong with 4 kills themselves, and only 2 accidental kills, I believe, have fallen onto the Nautilus, one of them being from that unfortunate tower dive early on by Nameless. And, you know, with that being the case, it means that going into these fights around these objectives spawning in the next 3 seconds, right, it means that Moonstone is going to have a lot more damage from the people that they want to be outputting the damage, right? As Kenny's going to get hooked.
Kenny gonna get CC'd for an eternity there, and Chung is gonna find the last kill there. Dylan, low HP, but the Ace and Hole will get parried out by Giannis, and 4v5 in favor of Moonstone as the second dragon spawns. But Nameless does not want to let this go without a fight. Chung in range, but is going to be able to flash out as Ovio gets caught by the combination of ultimates. As Chung now going to go down in the middle of 3. Double kill comes through to Drat as Polo has to run for the hills here. Cleanse, I don't think it's going to do much, but he is trading back pretty well. Drat's going to come through and secure that kill as well. A triple kill for the Yasuo now. And with not just like that, the numbers advantage is flipped.
Yeah, we talked about consolidating gold, and Drat is going to pick up 3 kills for themselves in that fight. And I forgot the most important part about Nameless Echo's comp, that even if they're behind, even if the gold is on the carries for, you know, Moonstone Gaming, they have the wombo combo potential, right? They have the Malphite Yasuo, they have the Lux Caitlyn. They have all the potential in the world to come back in these games from behind, and Dylan getting a nice hook.
Trying, gonna get put to sleep and knocked up. Drat's gonna find the 5th kill of the game for this Yasuo. Giannis is gonna fall as well, make it 6 for Drat on the Yasuo now, and back to the dragon they go, 5v3. And I think this one is this getting contested again?
Yeah, it looks like Moonstone wants to fight this dragon. It's only the second one of the game, and Nameless is first, but all right, they'll let it go reluctantly.
They've already entered 2 for it. Might as well win the whole team.
Yeah.
At this point, why not?
I think it's a little unfortunate. I think Dylan and Giannis thought that Moonstone had, you know, reset some of their members, you know, thinking that they had that dragon, and in I guess a little bit of desperation for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. Decided that they needed to, you know, try and pressure Nameless off the dragon. Either way, very nicely done by Nameless, being able to secure themselves a very nice gold lead in this game so far. Over 2,000 already at 16 minutes is going to be a very nice, you know, stepping stone towards victory in this game. But I mean, again, we talked about gold. Fiora has gold, but Yasuo now is going to have enough to match the Fiora in the side lane should that come to be the case later on in this game. And I think it's going to be interesting watching the Fiora try and dance around their lane opponent, right? Because if Giannis wants to create pressure in the side, they want to be up against the Malphite. And if Drat...
Drat gonna get dove under this tower here, 1v2, as the Anti-ult is gonna come down. Tibber's gonna join the party. Knockup hits Kuo, but he's not gonna follow with the last breath here. And Drat, for the time being, is gonna survive, but the bottom lane for Moonstone is also coming down to this play. It's a potential 4v1 situation, but no minions. That is crucial, and no Tibbers either. We'll see. Hook does connect somehow. Depth charge come through, and that is going to be enough. Chung gonna secure that shutdown on the Yasuo, and that's a big one. 900 gold.
Yeah, very nicely done from Moonstone, but Drat did his job and was able to pull pressure on that bot side for the rest of their team to grab that Herald on the top side. Grab that Herald? Yes.
Yeah.
On the top side, I just didn't see it in the inventory because they popped it as I was saying it. But getting that Herald and getting the mid tower is really Giannis and Lost Cause are fighting it out. Remember, Unstoppable Force is still up. Giannis looking for it, is holding the parry. Ooh, very nicely done from the Fiora there.
Herald charge gets 2 mid towers as well as proccing the shield bro of Chung. So I'd say pretty good push there. Obviously, you know, unfortunate that Drat gave the shutdown over, but nonetheless, we're able to pick up that gold elsewhere on the map and get that value back if for Nameless.
Yeah, I mean, Nameless doing a nice job getting that tower does mean that they're going to be able to fully open up this map and start getting vision in places that could cause problems for Moonstone. I mean, just we have to remember, right, that mid tower is the strongest one in terms of holding map position. And when 2 of them fall, it means that this U-shape sort of forms in the jungle where you don't really have control of it if you are Moonstone Gaming anymore, because Nameless can just push up the wave and then disappear into your jungle and threaten either towers that you have on your side lanes, which means that we could see a very nice potential setup from Moonstone, as Drat does not want to give up this mid lane to Polo for some reason. And as a result, it looks like Moonstone is going to try and make a play. Ooh, Dylan.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Drag going in looking for it, but not finding anything. No, neither team finds any engaged potential there, but numbers advantage. Actually, it's 4v4. Both top laners taking their rightful place in the side lane again. Obviously, you'd think that without Malphite, you'd think it would be relatively Moonstone favored, just because you're missing that big engaged tool from Nameless, but we'll see what happens here, as it looks like the numbers are going to just disperse, and we're going to go back to farming for a little bit. Still got a minute until this dragon. It is Ocean.
Yeah, and we should be seeing some recalls coming out from both teams now. As we're trying to set up vision, it looks like Moonstone is going to get the jump on the bases. Generally, just because wards last around 90 seconds to 2 minutes, you want to be backing around a minute's time to sort of get back onto the map to place meaningful vision. But Nameless have decided to opt. Actually, they do have nice vision set up. Now that I think about it, they have some good deep vision. They have the entrance covered towards this river, but a very late reset potentially coming in from Boyfriend, as they are going to stop the recall. But this is interesting because I think if you're Nameless, you need to have Lost Cause here from the start of the fight. You cannot afford to have this Malphite TPing in late, because if a hook lands and there's no unstoppable force to set up the Yasuo, I say, as TP comes in from Lost Cause.
Here we go, TP coming through, ace in the hole, plus the snowball is going to hit onto Chong. He's going to go down with ease there, as now numbers advantage. The Fed member of Moonstone is gone, and that should open the door for Nameless to take this dragon. We'll see. We saw what happened last time Moonstone was outnumbered and Nameless was trying to take a dragon, but it looks like they're just going to stay strong, stay mid, and to get this outer tower if they can. But Boyfriend doing a lot here. Gonna find the route onto Dylan. Dylan trying to hook out, dodges the knockup well here, but they are still chasing Nameless. Could get a bit too aggressive here. So Depstar's gonna find the knockup onto 2. Dylan's gonna go down to Pola, and Guo now running for the hills. Should be able to get out as OVO is on the backside, has the stun available. Timber's dropping it down, and Pola will fall. Now Drat and Guo fighting on the front side of the fight, but look at Lost Cause on the flank. Real Giannis has joined the party with the flash in. Shieldbook comes down, last breath is going to take down Guo as well here. Giannis in the 1v3 trying to find the kill. Parry is not enough. A triple kill comes through for Drat, and the dragon for Nameless as well. They control the map.
I was about to credit Moonstone for doing a very nice job trading that dragon away, but they sort of flubbed their disengage, opting to sort of go onto the Nameless team that they thought was overextended, when in fact Moonstone just wasn't strong enough to take that fight, right? You have Drat, who's there, who is incredibly strong at now 9-1, but had, you know, at least one full item and good components towards their second in that fight. And you had Real Giannis, who was not moving to help that fight nearly fast enough. And as a result, you give over 3 kills, you give over the dragon, and you don't even take down that mid tower that is so pivotal for map pressure in this game.
Absolutely here. And now 1.5k gold lead now for Nameless. They have the dragon advantage as well. And right now, you know, with this 9-1 Yasuo, you'd think that the game is in their hands. They have the team fight potential. They have the go buttons to start the fights. And as long as they don't mis-execute very badly, you know, I think that they should be in the driver's seat moving forward in this game. But Baron has now spawned, and Nameless trying to set up some of this topside vision, just trying to gain any intel and set up the Baron for a potential take here, as they see 2 members bottom lane. Guo caught on a ward in the jungle bot side, and the Baron has been started up here.
Ooh.
Drat looking for the 1v1.
Kickoff does have wind wall.
Nice wind wall. Depth charge going to find the knockup. Chong with the chain of corruption as well. Shield bow is popped, and it is not enough to save Drat, but Drat for Baron here. Moonstone gets the mid laner, but gives away Baron.
Moonstone really likes trading Drat for these void objectives on the top side of the map. First the Herald earlier on in this game, and now the Baron, and that final spark is not going to do nearly enough to clear this wave. And as a result, you know, Moonstone is going to fall pretty far behind on that trade. It's definitely not worth to take the Yasuo down, especially when he only has a 300 gold shutdown. in favor of a Baron. But I was gonna say before that, last little whoopsie from Moonstone, that I like this game currently because both teams have compositions that will allow them to pick off overextended and overconfident players from the other team, right? You have the Chain of Corruptions, you have Tibbers, you have the Dredge Line and depth from, or what's depth charge, right? Depth charge, Dread Line, those are Nautilus's abilities on Moonstone's side, which means that if Nameless get too, overexcited and they get too overconfident from this lead that they've created for themselves, it could quickly fall away from them. Because the gold lead is not so far that, Nameless is infallible, right? They have a lot of squishy carries. There's no one with a stopwatch or stasis besides Boyfriend on this team, which means that could potentially fall out of their hands if they overstep.
Absolutely here. Now, I'm interested to see what Nameless is going to do with this Baron. They have not been able to get any objectives with it yet. Still have about, like a minute. Yeah, about a minute and a half left on it. But you can see they have rotated their members up to this top side and going to try and break these last towers up here. They're going to get one. And I'm seeing a lot of members of Moonstone on the bottom half of the map here. This push is just uncontested for the time being.
Yeah, Moonstone is a little bit lost right now. They were sort of between two different plays. They thought about trying to catch out Lost Cause, who got a very nice recall off on the bot side there. But as a result, it pulled the Varus and the Nautilus just far enough out of the play that they weren't able to respond to this top push. And so Nameless just get a free tower before they're forced to recall and prep this dragon. And I'm kind of curious to see what we see item-wise for these teams. We see Yasuo with a Chain Vest and a Pickaxe, which could mean that they're just going to go for that Death Dance. And with the second Pickaxe, which will definitely confirm that for me. But just, looking and doing a quick stopwatch check, we have a stopwatch on Lilia as well as on the Lux, which means that if they are the ones that get engaged on, it's going to be very hard won for Moonstone. But a nice setup here, as Nameless has no idea. They can only see the Annie currently on the map, and as a result, they're just going to try and push this mid wave and potentially threaten an inhib. Oh, they see
Lost
Nautilus
Cause
now.
not here.
Comes Moonstone.
Lost Cause is not here as the flash depth charge comes through, find the knockup onto 2. Hook comes in as Tibbers is massive in the backside, but look at the lilting lullaby onto the entire team. Lost Cause now joins the party with a 3-man knockup, but is it enough? I don't think he has the damage to come through. Now Pola has joined the party. Giannis will stay alive for the time being, but Chong finds the snipes onto 2. Boyfriend has to run for the hills here, as now it is Boyfriend and Ketty versus Guo and Chong. We'll see if they have the damage here, as the skill shots are hitting for Nameless right now. But look at that shield coming out from Guo. Stun's not going to land here, but the slam will, as Chong is 1 HP, gets hit with another bowling ball, and both will go down to Ketty. Ketty goes crazy with that double kill, and that is an ace for Nameless.
It's very, very scrappy from both teams there. Nameless doing a very nice job being able to come out of that on top. Will be able to secure this dragon, I believe. I lied.
OTP.
As Ovo is going to be TPing in, gets chained up by the Lux, but is going to be there to stop the take from Ketty and Boyfriend. And as a result, I think actually this is going to go Moonstone's way, because you do have real Giannis coming in. Ketty and Boyfriend have not recalled yet, which means that there's going to be enough time for these members of Moonstone to actually return to the river. And actually, now that I say it, the way the timing works out means that we might just get another fight here. But Dylan,
yeah, I think so. Dylan has to run for the hills here, uses that hook to get away to safety, as Chong and Guo have both respawned here, making their way down to this river. Another ward comes in for Moonstone as Dylan is walking forward. Depth charge finds the knockup onto 2. Hook does not connect.
Oh, no.
Watch Boyfriend on the flank here. We'll see if they can find anything. It's gonna be a crazy one.
This is so scary because they have to be clumped up in this river. Lost Cause does have the unstoppable force now, and if he sees 2 or 3 members clumped up, he is just gonna probably send it with the Drat combination. Everyone has their ultis up. No one wants to press the objective.
Yeah, they have no vision past this pixel brush here, so they have to be a bit careful when going in. Bowling ball lands onto Chong, and Dragon has been started up. This is a potential soul point for Nameless. It is Ocean. Hook goes wide again. Dragon resets down to 4k HP. We'll see if they can find anything, as I don't think Nameless can get into the fight. Lost Cause is too threatening on the front side, and the Dragon will go over to Nameless as they are looking for a potential chase down here. Lost Cause has the ultimate, is ready to pull the trigger at a moment's notice, but will not yet, as two of these members are caught out for Moonstone here. They go onto Guo. Guo is taken very low. He is going to go down as well there, and that means that opens the potential for Baron. Giannis going
I don't know
in.
about that one.
I don't think that's the play. They're going to get put to sleep, but gets woken up by Caitlyn Auto. Is that enough? No, he's still going to go down as Keddy goes on a rampage and 5v3. Nameless going to start up this Baron.
Oh my god, I was about to say I was very happy for Moonstone. They showed just enough restraint to not give up the bag on that dragon fight, but instead they were so sloppy in walking out that they got caught by this Malphite, who I thought was potentially overreaching with that engage onto the tanky Udyr, but was instead, you know, the smarter one of the two of us, right? Because he was the one who saw the pick off onto the Udyr with the Yasuo combination, and as a result, they're able to pick up the Baron. I have no idea what was going through Giannis's head trying to go back with that parry. Maybe they thought that their bot lane was a little bit closer, was trying to look to fight alongside them. But either way, Nameless is going to pick up their second Baron of the game this time without trading their side laner in Drat. And so as a result, this could be a lot better for them, as Dylan is going to have to hook the wall. Does have that reset again to potentially turn back and fight, but Nameless need to just chill. They need to wait for Drat to start pushing the side lane. They cannot get engaged on and caught by...
Uh-oh. Looks like exactly what's going to happen here, as Lost Cause is going to get CC'd up for a while, going to go in, but does not have the damage to take down Chong here, as now Giannis in the backside will not take down Pola yet, but the flash depth charge comes through to secure the kill. Keddy on the front side, his boyfriend going to get CC'd up, going to go golden for the time being. 4v1 in this situation is not where you want to be, but look at Drat in the bottom lane, pushing, gonna take this tower, and so far in the fight, it's a 3-for-1 in favor of Moonstone Gaming.
If they kill Keddy here, the game could be in danger, because there is 30 seconds still on Pola and on Lost Cause. But with the Baron buff on Keddy, it should be only maybe an inhib tower for the side of Moonstone Gaming. But yeah, this is what I was saying, right? You got a little bit overconfident as Nameless Echo, and you were instantly caught out by this semi-pick, semi-teamfight comp of Moonstone.
Ovio could be in trouble here as Drat shield bow will get popped, hitting this inhibitor, but is going to turn away as the rest of the members of Moonstone are making their way over. I don't know. We'll see if he's able to get out of this one.
Dylan moving all the way down is going to have to play this somewhat slow to actually catch out Drat. Let's see if they... Oh, no. They messed up a little bit.
Oh, wow. Yeah, TP is coming in too, so Drat will be okay. So Ovio's going to get hit with the bowling ball, and for the time being, exposed a bottom lane inhib in the Moonstone Gaming base.
It looked troll.
Yeah.
Apparently, it looked troll that Dylan hit the blast cone the wrong way, but I guess they knew better than I did. They knew that the TP was coming in. If they actually chased that Yasuo any further, it would have been very bad. But either way, very nicely done from Moonstone, being able to stop that Baron take and actually make a bit of a charge back into this game. Gold lead's still sitting at about 5k in favor of Nameless Echo, but Moonstone getting a nice bit of gold back onto their own carries. It is going to be interesting looking at these item builds, right? We see Chong building towards that Bloodthirster, even though they already have a shield bow and more of an on-hit build. You would have thought that they could have been looking for something maybe more like a Bork to pair alongside, or maybe potentially something like a GA if they're worried about getting one-shot by this Yasuo Malphite combination. Or honestly, considering it's Varus, right? They do have the nice AP scaling on those Blight stacks. Could be looking at something maybe like a Zanya's as well as their fourth item. But if that, if that BF Sword and Vamp Scepter turn into a Bloodthirster, I'm not quite sure this Varus will have enough survivability or damage to make an impact in this game that they'd want to be making. But credit to Moonstone. They have a very nice setup on this dragon, have not swept the wards well enough, and are still on vision, so could find themselves in a tricky situation thinking that they're off vision when in reality, Nameless have their number.
Dragon spawning in 15 seconds here. This is a potential Ocean Soul if Nameless can find the last hit on it. We are going to get both of these top laners in the top side. Maybe a fight coming through here. Depth Trap comes through. They have found Drat. Drat's gonna go golden for the time being, but look at the sleep coming through onto 3. The rest of the team comes through as Chong trying to run, trying to kite. They get Drat, but can they find anyone else? No, as it is a 4-for-1 on the bottom side of the map. Nameless clean sweeps that 4v4. And they're gonna be pushing mid.
Yeah, pushing mid. I think they believe that this game could be ended right here from that team fight win, and Lost Cause now is going to be trying their best to stop Real Giannis from taking their back, but could be potentially caught out here. Does have the grand challenge going down. Real Giannis trying to stop Lost Cause so they can take this back. Ooh, I am actually not sure if the timing works out for this. We will see how confident Nameless Echo is in this end. But with Udyr coming up in 10 seconds, it looks like Nameless Echo is going to walk it back towards that dragon. Real Giannis going back is potentially going to find this kill.
Oh! Lost Cause turns it around and finds the solo kill there. Mid inhib falls for Moonstone Gaming, and Nameless turn their sights back on to this Ocean Soul. They should be able to claim it here.
Yeah, I mean, if they wanted to end, I think they could have potentially done it by going through bot lane, but very nicely done, being able to call off that end. Lost Cause getting a nice solo kill onto Real Giannis. Really shows that this Fiora, you know, is not as much of a match for the Mountain as potentially she looked like. But having 3 items does mean that she will be a problem still. And I think, not to call that 1v1 a fluke, but I think that Lost Cause still will be on the back foot in that side lane. But with Ocean Soul now picked up from the side of Nameless Echo, it is going to be a little bit risky for Moonstone Gaming to take these fights from now on, considering how much healing is going to come through. Ketty finding...
Oh, Chong's gonna go to sleep, using that cleanse to get out. Ace in the Hole's coming in as well here. Does not get blocked out as Immortal Shield though has been procced. The rest of Nameless pushing down mid. They're gonna get that wave push in and turn their sights on to Baron. I don't think they need it to end, but just gonna close it out cleanly.
This is a nice realization from Nameless Echo, right? They realize that they chunked out the Varus. Lost Cause is gonna hit that blast cone and stop the flashless Udyr from having a way into this Baron pit. But, you know, they knew that they chunked out the Varus enough to the point where Moonstone cannot fight them any longer. And so they said, okay, Varus is going to have to be forced to base here. We can just take this Baron for free with no contest. And if they bother to fight us, they either fight with the 1 HP Varus or they fight 4v5. And this is an interesting split. Okay.
Whoa.
Lost Cause decided to send it there on to Ovo, who decided to take that back. But this is going to be an interesting split, right? You have Lilia pushing in that top side. I expect Nameless to leave one person on this mid lane just to buff it up and actually crash into the base, as this could be really risky. Nameless is walking through a portion of contested jungle. Here comes a depth charge.
Depth charge finds 2. Hook lands onto Pola as the sun comes in as well here. Gonna be able to flash and cleanse out to safety, but this is big coming in now as Drat has entered the fight, dashing in, but he's gonna go down. Chong finds the kill there as Guo trying to push forward. Chain of Corruption hits a lot, but look at Ketty. Gonna go golden for the time being as he is in the middle of 4. Not gonna find the damage and will get shut down 3-for-1 in favor of Moonstone, and this breathes some life back into this game for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Nameless blundering a bit with their Baron again. They decide to take an overzealous fight when they know that Lost Cause has no ultimate, which means that Drat does not have the setup that they need to, you know, win this fight, right? We know that, you know, yes, they do have the gold lead. Yes, they are up 6k, but they need their abilities to fight. And if you walk in to a contested part of jungle like that and you line up for the anti-AoE and the Udyr Phoenix stance, you're going to get burned down. You are not nearly tanky enough to survive those damage outputs from Moonstone Gaming. And so now, I mean, granted, they've brought it back a little bit. They got some golden shutdowns off of Nameless. It's going to be tricky because now Nameless potentially could have a little bit of a hit to their confidence in this game. And we could see them potentially start to mess up a little bit setting up, because they just know that they can lose a fight now, right? You would have thought you were on top of the world. You had Baron, you had Inhib, you have Soul yourself, but now you've lost with all these bonuses. You question, you know, how easy it is and what fights you can take against Moonstone.
I mean, if Nameless just fights 5v5, I don't think that they should lose. That fight was a little bit strange. Like you mentioned before, I think they should just be able to win with Malphite Yasuo and then Ketty in the back. just dealing a lot on this Fed Lilia, but like you said, there is some sort of doubt that creeps in here for Nameless, and you can see 4 of them pushing this top side in as Drat, the lone member in this mid lane, maybe gonna rotate over.
I like that they're pushing top lane here because if you're Nameless, you're trying to create as much pressure away from the objective, but they don't have Drat here for the start of this fight.
Drat's not here, but that's a lot of damage onto the front line. Teleport coming in from Real Giannis as Moonstone has to run for the hills here. Giannis is joined, but is not interested in fighting here as Guo is 1 HP, has to reset. Mid inhibitor respawns as well, and the rest of Nameless is going to be pushing onto this top side tower. They are going to find the inhibitor tower. Moving forward onto the inhib, still have Malphite ulti and Yasuo ulti as he goes in. They find OVO. Do they have the damage to take him down? That is a giant sleep coming through as OVO is going to fall. Drat has that GA completed and it will be popped for the time being. As we'll see, Dylan's going to get rooted up. Watch Chung in the backside. Is he going to have the damage to take him out? Drat falls. Chung is dealing out. DPS finds the quadra kill on the Varus, and Moonstone Gaming stands strong.
Do they have enough time to go for the end? We see pings going onto that bot side tower for the side of Moonstone Gaming. A very nicely played out fight, being able to find that victory. I was gonna say, I was watching that fight, and it looked like the Yasuo ulti onto the solo Annie was definitely a bait engage. It seemed as though Drat and Lost Cause did not find the right target to use their ulti combination on, because it just left them in a very vulnerable spot. And looking at that fight, I'm gonna be honest, Changfeng was not trying to kite at all. They said, okay, I have way too much attack speed to try and be kiting out this fight. I'm going to stand still and just be a rapid fire, autoing machine. I was watching Pola and Changfeng 1v1ing on the top side of that fight. Pola was trying to kite around, trying to, weave movement between their auto attacks. Changfeng just said, yeah, no, I'm going to stand still and auto you down. And as a result, was able to just pick up a very nice, I believe it was a triple kill in that fight, and made me eat my words about that Bloodthirster in their build. And as a result, Moonstone has first move onto this Elder Dragon. They were able to completely deny any vision for Nameless Echo here. And if we toggle the vision real quick, they're walking into Fog. They have no idea what's going on here. And as a result, they're using Lost Cause as a face check tool. Currently, they can only see the top side of the river, and they have no idea that Real Giannis is on the flank.
15k on this Dragon. Hook lands onto Lost Cause. We'll see how far they opt to go for it. Depth Trudge finds the knockup onto 2. Real Giannis on the flank, gets some damage in. Nice parry there. Whoa, trying to front for the rest of his team as the Dragon sitting at 12,000 HP. Chong has completed the GA. Dragon resets now. We will see.
Ocean Soul is so huge.
Oh! Goes in, knockup finds it, but the last breath again onto Chong. GA is gonna get popped here as Drat will fall. Look at the sleep coming through. Pola trying to deal the damage in the back, but cannot. And this looks like another fight in favor of Moonstone here. Kenny trying to find the 1v5 or 1v4, but cannot. 4 kills. Or 4 members still standing for Moonstone. They go 5 for 1 in that team fight, and they're gonna close this game out.
Yeah, this is going to be a win for Moonstone Gaming despite all the odds going against them leading up to that point. Just another not great engage coming up from Lost Cause and Drat. I think they only found maybe, I can't remember who it was. I think they only found maybe Chongfeng, but with the shield bow and with the GA, they were able to come back up in that fight and just really create a huge difference. And I mean, this is a really troublesome if you're Nameless, right? You had a very nice win. You were in the driver's seat for a lot of this first game, and now, a couple bad fights and you lose the game. This is a massive hit to their confidence.
And we are back for the pick and the ban of game number 2 between Nameless Echo and Moonstone Gaming. Moonstone taking game number 1 in a 43-minute banger. And we got the
That
same
long?
sides. Yeah, it was 43.
Dude, I didn't
We
even
got the
realize
same
how long that
sides.
first game was. Yeah. We get the run back. Lee Sin banned again. No issues from that first draft so far. Wow, that game was super long. I didn't realize. Anyway, draft looking somewhat similar from that first game so far. Lee Sin and Ash taken off the table. I'm curious to see what draft adaptations Nameless Echo will go for. Currently, none so far, sticking to the book that they came into the series with. But I could definitely see something, like the Udyr or like the Nautilus taken away from Moonstone just because of how pivotal they were in setting up the success of Moonstone's game, I suppose. But also, I could just as easily see Nameless Echo saying, we were winning that game. Let's do the run back. There was nothing wrong with draft, which I also might agree with. But moving into the ban,
Yeah.
same for Moonstone so far.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Nameless, I'm saying I didn't see a problem with the draft. It was just an execution problem. So I would be okay to just run it back. Um, honestly, both teams can probably just say the same thing, right? Like I didn't see a problem with the draft. It was just execution. And we are getting the same bans. I mean, all 3 same bans for Nameless here. Do not want to play against the Ping Bard. But Caitlyn actually is going to be taken off the table here. And I do like that change by Moonstone.
And I'm curious to see if Echo will pick up a Sejuani that was banned against them last game because that was what was the third ban for Moonstone before, and it is a very pivotal jungler these days, just because it is a very strong piece of frontline and is very good at combining with a bunch of these melee top and mid picks that have been coming out recently, namely the Silas has been that really nice mid pairing, but Kaisa is the hover,
Ooh.
and with the long range Caitlyn banned away in this game, Kaisa no longer has, too many things to be afraid of in the bot lane, and so Nameless Echo will pick it up.
I'm liking Zaya here. I wonder if Moonstone bottom lane plays Zaya or Khan because I would like that if I'm Moonstone right now. I think
Do you think
Rakan
we
pairs
get
well with Zaya.
do
I
you
mean,
think we get
Rakan
the
pairs well
Varus
with Kai'Sa as
Nautilus?
well.
Ooh,
Oh,
they must
oh,
hear you.
come
They're
on,
watching the stream.
come
They're
on.
watching the stream. They have to be watching the stream. They took 30 seconds to listen to what you
They were
thought.
waiting for they were
I
waiting for
thought
the
I thought that it was going to be maybe the Varus Nautilus run back again, because you'd be denying Kaisa that that passive setup in the Nautilus, and it seemed that Chong had a very nice time on that Varus, but I expect maybe potentially a jungler to come out from Moonstone, maybe the Sejuani that they thought was going to be first picked.
maybe we'll see.
Oh,
Oh, Blitzcrank. Okay.
what? Wait a second. Oh, I'm a little bit lost. I'm
I
a
mean,
little
that
bit
champ
lost.
pairs well with everyone,
I mean,
but
yes, but
Rakan
also
looks
like
pretty good.
Rakan looks good for Echo. Nautilus looks good for Echo. Honestly, Braum looks pretty okay for Echo. Um, but this Sejuani is falling through fairly far. And I know I might be saying, the champion too much, but I think she's really good right now. What?
Oh my goodness.
What is happening? All right, this draft is pretty
I would have
spicy
been
so
okay.
far.
I would have been okay with the Heimer, to be honest. I think it's good
But
if you
with
can play it
Kaisa?
well.
But with Kaisa?
If you can, I mean, it completely nullifies Blitzcrank,
It does, but also
and
it's
Blitzcrank's the biggest issue, I think.
I mean, there's just not a lot of draft synergy happening for either of these teams so far. I guess Blitzcrank Zaya is okay.
Oh
Vi,
my gosh.
please don't pick Vi or Rek'Sai into Zaya. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. Well, I think Nameless Echo actually might be picking that Swain or mid or top lane. It was a pick that has been much more popular on previous patches, um, but is a very nice piece of frontline pairing for the Sejuani, and a lot of good lockdown and setup for Kaisa. I could see it being a support potentially, but I think that they might be looking for something maybe a little bit more tanky and engagey from the support. But we'll see if Moonstone decides
Oh
to
wow.
match. Boy,
Whoa, wait a minute.
now this is potentially a flex pick. I don't want to get super baited by that Lilia hover. But Morgana technically can play 2 roles or 3 roles in the game currently. She can play mid, she can play jungle, and she can play support. Um, and with that Blitzcrank locked in, I'm pretty sure. Now, Blitzcrank jungle, was played recently, in the game's history. But Morgana could very well go into the jungle, and Moonstone Gaming is gonna completely deny that Malphite. They said this was annoying last game. We don't want to play against it again, even though we have Black Shield and Featherstorm. Either way, Malphite is taken off the table, but I'm curious to see as to where this Morgana goes. And with that in mind, I would really hope Moonstone would pick their top laner on 4 here, just like they did last game, and could potentially go for that Fiora again with the way that this draft and bans are shaking out.
I think it would be so grief if Nameless picked Malphite here. So I don't know. I don't think it was needed. Like, and especially like you talked about with the there are a lot more tools that Moonstone has to counter Malphite ulti this game. But Camille banned away by Nameless. Saying top lane bans coming through again. This might be Ari. Who you never know.
It could
They
be
could still
Ari,
think that this is Morgana jungle, but I
if
seem to
it's
think it's Morgana mid.
if it's Ari banned, I think that's a little bit troll because if Moonstone were looking to pick up a mid laner right now, I think they need one with maybe a little bit more damage than Ari. Okay. Um, just
Yeah.
because Ari is not going to be able to burn through something like a Swain or a Sejuani. And with the way their comp is shaking out, they're sort of vying in to the team fight strategy that Echo is trying to go for right now, which means that if they don't have enough DPS to kill this Swain, Moonstone's going to be in a lot of trouble, right? I guess they do have a decent heal cut builder in that Morgana. But with Morello being more of a magic pen item these days, it doesn't really fit in line with a champion anymore. But let's see what Moonstone decides to pick here and where this Morgana is going. All right, it's still being flexed. I like this from Moonstone. It makes Nameless Echo think about what they do with the rest of their picks, because if they decide to pick a mobile top lane and a mobile support or mid laner, this Morgana going jungle could be a problem for them. Talking about the Scion, it's kind of a whatever pick at this point, right? You just need a beefy tank to be in the front line. I kind of wish it maybe would have been something more like an Ornn. But with set locked in, it will be a good matchup into that Scion and a very painful ultimate ability.
Oh
If
boy.
the Scion gets sent back into Moonstone.
If this gets locked in, Moonstone in 2.
Moonstone in 2, you think?
I
If the
hate
Twitch
Twitch support, dude.
what if
It
it's Twitch
feeds
mid?
in every game I've ever seen.
What if it's Twitch mid?
Then they might win.
What if they're cosplaying Rat Earl and
They
playing Twitch
could.
mid?
That could be the case. That could be the case. We'll see. We'll
I
see. Okay. Silas.
Oh yeah, I just realized that Silas went through even though Swain was picked. Again, the Silas doesn't really have a place. It is nicely paired with Sejuani, and it means that I actually don't know what it means because there's a lot of sorry, I'd come to a conclusion in my head that I realized could be wrong. But I will save those conclusions till after Moonstone make their pick and we see where this Morgana is going. I would love to see a Morgana jungle.
Nah.
Oh yes. All right, so we get Morgana jungle, which is
Wow.
gonna be really interesting. It could be Blitzcrank jungle again, but Syndra is going to be the lock-in, which is not really what we needed to see coming out of Moonstone, right? I don't see a world where you're able to burn down these tanks on Nameless Echo if you're Moonstone. I think if the game goes anywhere near as long as it did last time, they're gonna have a big problem on the red side because Swain, Sejuani, Set, and even the Silas to a certain degree are just gonna be far too tanky for Moonstone to burn through. And even if the Xayah gets fed, right? You have Sejuani, you have Swain, and you have Set, who are all going to be causing massive problems for them. You even have the Silas now, who's going to be able to pick up something like a Scion ulti and start a fight on their own terms. But speaking about the Silas that I kind of wanted to say before is I don't really see its place in this game. Yes, it is a nice pairing with the Sejuani if you're putting it mid. But it doesn't have any good ultis to steal this game. It would have been great if Moonstone were able to pick it up for themselves. Maybe Echo thought that they were denying it, and were just fine eating, the poor ultis this game. But Nameless Echo's comp does not really have an identity that I like. I think it just doesn't have one. Kind of same with Moonstone. Neither of these teams, unlike last game, neither of these teams have an identity around them. They're kind of just like a bunch of mishmash picks that each team went into the game thinking that they were countering the other team. Um, and as a result, we have this sort of weird chessboard where nothing quite makes sense. And Blitzcrank is hovered right now, considering draft isn't being shown on screen right now. But Blitzcrank was being hovered, but it is going to be the Morgana lock in. We will let you know if it gets swapped at all in this draft, but it's going to be interesting because I don't really know how this game is going to play out.
I don't either. I mean, these are some interesting drafts, man.
I know
I
I'm
don't.
supposed to be the color commentator, but God, I have no idea how this is supposed to play out. I have never seen a draft like this before. Yeah. Phew.
Yeah, I don't really give. I mean, like I think you make good points with Moonstone. I mean, they're lacking damage pretty seriously here. I mean, if you have a pretty AP heavy top side, and then Scion, I assume will just build tank. I mean, he could build AD, but that's a lot harder to execute. And I think if Zaya doesn't get ahead, I think it's pretty impossible for Moonstone to win this game just because you have no AD damage, and Nameless can just stack that MR and you won't be able to touch them at all. So I think a lot of it's going to depend on the first 5, maybe 10 minutes of the game to see who can get an early lead. And if you can get an early lead, I think you can really snowball on either side with this game.
Does Swainy count as 2 stacks for Kaisa passive?
Mm,
You get one for the root, and then you get another for the pull.
it would make sense that you get two. I think it's not a bad lane combo. I kind of like the combination. For
Yeah.
that's one reason. But yeah, I think I would imagine it's two. Just it would make sense.
Yeah. We have 6 seconds left for Moonstone to swap Morgana and Blitzcrank if they choose to do so. It looks like they are not going to. It looks like we're going to have Morgana jungle, which is going to be interesting. I heard some rumors that you could still multi-camp on Morgana. I'm not quite sure how true they are. Because the thing that made Morgana really broken in the past, right, is that you would have crazy spell vamp from her W, and so you were able to do 2 camps at a time, as well as heal off of those 2 camps while you were doing them. So even if you were standing still and the camps were hitting you, you would be maintaining the same level of health while burning the camps down. Not sure how that will look in this game potentially. It could inspire me to play Morgana jungle again. I thought the pick was really fun, and really unique. It is a niche counter into, Sejuani, just because you are going to be able to throw out that Black Shield if Sejuani likes to throw the Glacial Prison. But, we'll see what happens when we load into this game, but I could not tell you who's going to win this game for the life of me.
Yeah, this will be an interesting one here. We do got a little bit of time left on that prediction, so get those predictions in, get those votes, and support whatever team you guys are feeling. And we are going to take a short break for the spectator delay, but we'll be on the Rift shortly for game number 2 between Nameless Echo and Moonstone Gaming. And we are back onto the Rift for game number 2 between Nameless, Echo, and Moonstone Gaming. We got the same sides here, and looks like we're going to get some early action once again, especially with Ping on this Blitzcrank. 2 targets in sight if he opts to put that ward over and throw it, but instead, we're going to get a 5-man stack from Nameless here. And they
All right.
know.
Yeah, they saw the hook fly over the wall and whiff. So nothing doing. And with that confidence that no one was in the bush, we saw Guo Feng walk over and get that ward onto the red buff. And we will see how this lane shakes up. It seemed as though Nameless did not quite know exactly how they wanted to split up their members on this bot side defend, but another level 1 where people just walk near each other. Not next to each other, not through each other. They do not fight each other. They're just around enough to know that the other one is there. But yeah, I mean, we're breaking up into our lanes. It looks like Guo Feng is going to be starting on that red buff.
Oh!
Pola. Okay, that's a Chad flash right there, from Pola.
FF.
FF. If Dylan lands a hook, it is doomed.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
never mind.
two stacks.
Is it 2? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. But Pola not having flash is actually going to be really bad if Moonstone ever realized it. I mean, they shouldn't know unless Pola just dies without using it. But either way.
Or they're watching.
Yeah, or they're watching. If they're watching, they'll find out in 3 minutes time, and we'll have 2 minutes to do something about it. Which I hope they're not. I hope they're not watching. Either way, both junglers starting their top side. Morgana did not multi-camp anything, but Pola not taking advantage of that pull. I'm going to look up the name of it now because I'm going to be saying it a lot.
Here we go.
Flash from Ping.
Boyfriend flashing away. Ah, no, he missed the hook, but the claw comes back. Ping, low HP, they have no heal, and Pola finds the first blood.
That is not how I thought that play would shake out. I thought Boyfriend was surely dead.
Another one.
Oh, cleanse landing.
DJ Khaled.
Another one.
It's called Nevermore.
Wow. Yeah. I have figured out. I clicked on it as the Blitzcrank flash, and so I missed it, and I was very upset. I was about as upset as I was when I saw him whip that hook.
that was unfortunate.
Either way, Morgana showing on the bot side now. Ping does have the Hex Flash. He's going to be looking to go around. No flashes now on the bot side of Nameless. They are in danger.
Morgana is here. 3v2. Sejuani is here as well here, but look at Pola just going in, gonna find the kill onto Chong. Boyfriend living long enough, but there's not enough damage to take down this Swain. Ping is gonna go down as well here, and that's a 2-for-0 in this bottom lane in favor of Nameless.
Oh, it's a disaster. It's been 3 minutes and 33 seconds, and it is a disaster for Moonstone Gaming so far. Ah, man. Pola flashes. I knew it was all a bait. Pola flash because they were confident that they would be winning this early game. Doesn't even need it in those 2 separate engages. And as a result now, it's going to be already a 1,500 gold advantage for the side of Nameless Echo. And I just noticed that Boyfriend has grasp on this Swain bot lane. Not Glacial, not Electrocute, not Comet, but grasp. So this is a pick that they had in mind as, I guess, a response to the Blitzcrank, knowing that they'd be able to stack up that HP definitely, as Drat is going a little bit aggressively, not knowing that the Morgana is here.
Guo is here. Drat running for the 1v2, dodges out of the binding very nicely there, and will be able to survive that gank for the time being. But yeah, like you said, grasp on the Swain. I've seen it before.
More of a top lane thing, I think, though.
Yeah, it's not normally what you go for when you are playing support. Usually Glacial or Electrocute is the rune of choice there. But nonetheless, more trading going on here in this top lane. Lost Cause taking the brunt of it here as Giannis bringing down the axe on him. And Drat now going for it again. Ovo has to flash away to safety, and Guo should be able to figure this out. Whoa, the flash auto is enough. And Guo finds the kill onto Drat there and blows the flash.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. Guo spent the last 45 seconds sitting on the other side of that wall there. And was, I guess knew that Drat was just going to go for that kill. Ovo doing a nice job baiting it out. and getting the kill onto the Silas. No flashes now for almost the entirety of the side of Moonstone. And I don't really know if I like the way that Lost Cause is playing this, because in that top side there, they were giving up so much health and CS just to trade onto real Giannis, and as a result, they were not able to get nearly as much of a benefit in the lane state as they wanted, and were forced to instead just take their recall and TP back. I kind of want to see real Giannis TP as well, because Lost Cause, despite mistrading a little bit in the wave, has got a nice freeze off, and the Sign is going to lose out quite a bit if they do not TP back. But Giannis instead is going to walk it back. But very nicely played. Honestly, I really like this from Moonstone. This is, despite those early fights, this is very nicely played from them. They had the restraint to not step up to that wave. It was already pushing into them, so they knew that they had no reason to walk forward, and instead just decided to play it safe. Not allow Keddy to get the punish off, and are instead just going to lose the dragon gracefully, which sounds like a loss, and it is for Moonstone, but it's not much of a loss compared to what it could have been, and so very nicely played and very nicely mitigated in that loss. You see both junglers sort of finishing up their clears. Keddy is going to be on the spot side. He's going to be looking towards that level 6. Can get it soon if they finish up a few more camps. Guo really needs to do a good job of punishing these flashes that are down on the side of Nameless, right? We have Silas's flash down. We have Boyfriend's flash down. Pola's flash is back now after that level 1 whoopsie. But is instead going to find a very nice free blue buff and potentially a kill onto Lost Cause if this set decides to overextend on this wave.
Yeah, looks like he will. Keddy going for a gank mid with the flash. Ovo, use the cleanse. It's a bit early. Gonna get stunned up under the tower. Unleash power is not enough damage there. And now Lost Cause has to blow the flash from that gank here to dodge out of the binding. And should just be able to walk this one out. Keddy's on the way.
Yeah, Guo shouldn't chase this. Keddy is hovering up on that top side with Lost Cause and does have that level 6. We talked about it in draft, right? The Silas Sejuani combo. And with Ovo not having flash or cleanse up, actually they did have cleanse up, but not having flash up.
Used it.
Yeah, used it in that fight. Not having flash up. Ooh. Okay, Blitzcrank living out just with a little bit of health left. Lost Cause is going to try and walk at the Sejuani here, or sorry, Sion. Yeah, I mean, nicely played from Keddy and Drat on that mid gank. They got the double stun from the Sejuani E, and the knockup from Silas, which meant that there was really no chance for Ovo to survive. But I mean, the gold has not really shifted since that early play. It is about 1.2k in favor of Nameless Echo, and I mean, they're playing like it, right? There's a lot of confidence coming from Keddy, a lot of confidence coming from Lost Cause in this top side, and they're really looking to make a dent on this game. Ovo finding a pink ward means that Drat will not be able to get any free roams out of mid lane. And I kind of want to check in on items, right? We see Sion going for an early Sunfire, which means that they're expecting to be brawling a lot. They're not going to be going, for the scaling item like the Heartsteel. It is instead going to be going for this Sunfire instead for a bit of an earlier game spike, it seems.
Yeah, Boyfriend rotating up here for this Herald at about 9 minutes. I like the adaptation there coming out from Nameless with getting that support room up, making sure to secure the objective, and also helping Drag get this mid push in so Ovo cannot respond to the play. I like the macro there a lot, and now Lost Cause and Keddy might look for Giannis, but nah, he is fine in this top lane. Overall, bind lands. Oh my gosh, no hook from Dylan.
Hook not up.
Yeah.
Hook was not up. Hook was thrown before the binding. So Pola doing a nice job to bait out the cooldown to not get killed by it. I kind of want to go over something that seems... Oh, hold on, wait. Ping is going to Hex Flash backwards in the lane. But I want to sort of go over an inconsistency that Boyfriend has in their build, right? We talked about the Grasp already, but with that knowledge in mind, Grasp is going to be used if you're autoing the Blitzcrank a lot. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't then opt to go for the Spell Thieves. They decided to go for the Relic Shield instead, which seems like a bit of a lack of consistency in their build. Either way, Relic
It's
Shield
not that big of a deal, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just a matter
I
of
agree.
whether you're trying to do damage or whether you're trying to just be tanky. And I guess Boyfriend is fully committing to the tank aspect of this game. Um, sort of an island up on this top side has not really resulted in much for either top laner. We see, a bunch of landing.
A glance here as Pola has to flash away to safety, but the Featherstorm Blade Caller combination comes through clutch for Chong here, and now Ketty has joined the party. Low HP on a lot of these members as Chong is going to go down. Guo has to flash away to safety, but Ovo is here as well. Unleash Power, not going to do enough damage to take down Boyfriend as Guo will fall. Ovo is going to get taken down. No, will flash out to safety in the cleanse as Nevermore again connects and Drat picks up the kill onto Ping. Ovo gets out somehow.
Yeah, and I think that's a shadow for what's to come later on in this. Or sorry, yeah, I think I used that right. Either way, it's foreshadowing for the future of this game, right? We saw Chong getting a nice kill onto Pola, but was not able to have nearly enough damage to kill either of the members on that bot side there in the Sejuani or the Swain. And this is a support Swain, who I think is building Rhyolize first.
I think so.
I guess maybe that's why they didn't go Glacial. Either way, Chong is not going to have enough damage to kill these members later on in the game, and we saw that right there on that fight. Boyfriend with just the level 1 ulti and very minimal health stacking, being able to eat up the entirety of that Xayah damage after they blew everything on Pola. And now that there's no Featherstorm or Flash onto Chong, I really would like to see Ketty just go right back down there, and this is exactly what we're seeing on the bot side. Ketty hovering the bot again could potentially find the Flashless Blitzcrank.
Oh, is roaming down as well here, so numbers would be in favor of Moonstone, and we'll see if they continue up. Second dragon of the game has spawned, and it is a mountain. Finds Ketty, but should be okay. Just able to dash back out over the wall there, and the time being, no moves towards this dragon, and top lane still just boxing it out.
Yeah, I think the the directed camera is going to be top lane a lot this game just because of how much Lost Cause and Giannis are fighting. But some very nice damage going down onto the bot side for Nameless Echo. So Drat getting a very nice chain. Does
looking
have
for the solo kill. Oh, so close. Lived with 1 HP. Ovo lived with 1 HP there. Very, very close to finding that solo kill, but instead, it will just allow Nameless to make their way up towards this dragon and secure their second dragon of the game.
Oh, and it looks like they're trying to bait Ovo again. Will they get away with it this time? They will not. They will not.
Ovo falls. Ovo, look at this top lane here. Showstopper plus the Scion ultimate. That's going to be a big knockup. No, Lost Cause is able to flash away from it. And Giannis getting the better of that 1v1.
Yeah, I mean, very nicely played from Giannis, having the confidence on that Scion to know exactly how much damage Lost Cause can do to them, as well as how much damage they can trade back. And I don't know if Lost Cause is actually allowed to be here still, because Scion is going to have the Decimating Smash, is going to be able to do a whole lot, and especially without the Face Breaker, Giannis could potentially look to go onto Lost Cause here. Doesn't have enough mana for the shield, for the Q. Oh, this is so scary.
Looks like...
But here comes Ketty.
Yeah, Ketty's here for the hover here, and Giannis now could be in trouble. Has the flash, gonna get stunned and taken down as Lost Cause picks up their first kill of the game.
And the shining hope for Moonstone Gaming, this top laner, for real Giannis, has just been diminished. Because, honestly, that was kind of their hope, right? Every part of the map has been going wrong for Moonstone, and the Scion was doing so well against Lost Cause, denying the set scaling as well as they could have, and just doing a nice job becoming this beefy frontline member. But now falling and giving a kill over to the Sejuani and the set just means that Nameless is falling, or sorry, not Nameless, rather, Moonstone is falling just that much further behind in this game, and it's going to be very hard for them to, finish this game out, or for this series, rather. But yeah, I mean, looking at items, right, we have mythics coming out for almost everyone except the supports. Respective first items finished for both top laners, those non-mythics in the Bork and the Sunfire just mean that they're going to be working towards their tank items later on. I'm actually pretty sure that both will still be building Heartsteel despite not stacking it up early. But just looking at the way that this game has gone so far, Herald is going to be started up by Kitty on the top side. Oh, bot side fight.
We got to fight. Demonic Embrace is spawned. Guo is here. Binding goes wide, though. I would have liked to see hold Binding for a little bit longer there, just to kind of cut off some angles. But interestingly enough here, Lost Cause with that Bork now going to start to win these 1v1 trades just due to that max HP damage. But I do want to talk about the... Oh, wait a minute. Ping with the flash in. Gonna get hooked back. Binding lands onto Boyfriend here as Pola goes in. Finds one. Will be traded back. We'll see if they have the damage to follow it through. Pola quite low, but the tower will dispel any further aggression from Moonstone's bot and jungler here. But now look at Drat in this mid lane, taking away the unleashed power. The flash is not enough, and Ovo falls for the third time this game.
Yeah, Nameless are coming back after that first game. They were upset that they weren't able to close it out after the lead that they created for themselves, and they said this game is going to be different, and different it has been, as it looks like it's going to be top tower falling just a little bit after the bot tower for Nameless, which means that a very nice steal of first tower gold goes over to Moonstone. But I mean, still, the gold lead is going to be about 4,000 for the side of Nameless Echo, and with that 2 dragon lead as well, could start causing a lot of problems for Moonstone if they're forced to fight as a team earlier than they would like to. But the only good news, if you're Moonstone, right, is that this soul is going to be a cloud soul, which means that it's not quite as checkmate as, you know, potentially like an ocean soul or a mountain soul, or a hextech soul. Honestly, hextech is the most broken dragon soul I think there is in this game currently. But cloud soul is very nice, is very good for utility and setup around the map. Certainly has some good users in the Silas and in the, honestly, most users in this game get a good use of the Cloud Soul. Either way, a very good soul for Moonstone because it does not mean that they are forced to fight these dragons. But just looking at the way these items have been built up, I don't think there's anything too crazy going on so far.
Kraken Zai you don't see too much, but I think it makes some sense in this game. Yeah, just because of the set, the Swain, the Sejuani on Nameless. It'll be interesting to see how the lack of utility with Gale Force, if it comes up in this game at all, because you know, there's a lot of Gale Force and Blade Color combos that we like to see there on Xayah, but we'll see here as their dragon is about to spawn. You can see both teams are already making their way down to this bottom side river as Hetty will spawn the Herald in the mid lane. Gonna get hooked. We'll have to blow the flash to get away as Herald crashes mid. Not gonna take the tower yet, but will give Moonstone inside track onto this dragon.
Yeah, it seems that Nameless isn't really too bothered by Ketty being forced to blow flash there. They are going to start this dragon. No vision. Ketty gets hooked again. No flash this time. Ooh, does have the arc
dash through. Whoa! Guo going in 1v5 here. The rest of the team has joined the party. Lost Cause. Showstopper into the back. Ooh. That's going to be a lot of damage here as Giannis will go down. Dragon secured by Nameless, and Nameless is taking over.
I believe it was secured by a Drat auto attack. Very aggressive coming out from Guo, trying to get into flash and steal that dragon. Both junglers flubbing the smite a little bit means that it gets stolen by the mid laner. Lost Cause flash forward.
Ovio gets kicked by the face breaker and will fall. And that mid lane outer tower will also fall here, which means Nameless gonna continue mid, gonna take this inner as well, and also gonna take Ping's life, who walked just a bit too close.
Yeah, I mean, and a very nice dive coming out from Nameless Echo there. They were able to dive it with Boyfriend tanking and really not lose anyone, right? A very clean play overall. They were able to secure the third dragon despite it being a little sloppy, and then turn that fight into 2 mid towers as well. I mean, I kind of want to ask your opinion. If you're, you know, Moonstone in this game, are you still concerned about trying to come back in this game, or are you thinking about how to make adaptations for game 3?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough being down. I mean, if you look at it, the gold 6K, it's not completely lost. Just because you know, with the implementation of the objective bounties, and I see a lot of bounties on Nameless's side anyway. I think there's still opportunities for them to get those bounties and come back in this game, but it's gonna take a lot of mistakes from Nameless here. So I wouldn't exactly just completely give up yet, but I'm not, I'm not gonna get tilted by anything that happens moving forward from this game. I think is the correct mindset to have.
I think that's totally fair. I kind of like the way. I like the way that Moonstone have set up their 1-3-1 so far. They have Syndra just sitting way back on that second tier tower, catching waves that Lost Cause is pushing in, and they have Giannis contesting waves that Drad is trying to push into this bot tower here. Just regarding the wave clear, I think the Scion is better at clearing waves than this Syndra is currently. So, I mean, it is the way that the game has broken out so far. It looks like decent vision set up on this top side for Moonstone and for Nameless, which means that this set could potentially get caught out if they are not careful. And remember, Blitzcrank ulti does break the set shield if he tries to use it.
Here we go. Showstopper will force out the Feather Storm, flashing away, but Pola comes in with the ultimate. And now the rest of Moonstone has to run for the hills. Ping is going to flash, but will get caught and dragged back in. 2-4-0 in favor of Nameless. And now Drat going after Giannis here. Not going to find the knockups, but nonetheless, this is a tough situation now. If you are Moonstone here, just gonna die to the tower, cut the losses, and
it's gonna give Swain a free kill though. But with those kills going over, it is gonna be a Baron start for the side of Nameless Echo, and they're just winning across the whole map, right? The Scion is getting pummeled by Drat. A very nice rotation from the mid lane for Nameless Echo means that they're able to secure that fight win on the top side. What looked a little bit scary turned out to be a very nice win for Nameless Echo, but I think that Chung might have misplayed a little bit, getting a little bit too close to that set. Means that they get ulted. Drad is potentially going to get caught out here. Does have the Morgana behind them, but with the Scion ulti could go in.
Here we go, looking for it. Hook comes through there, and that's 700 gold over to Chung. That's the person that you wanted on right there if you are Moonstone. With that second item, Quick Blade's completed too. Zaya is starting to come online.
Even with that 700 gold, the Chong is still 900 gold behind Pola in this game currently. And it is reflected in the items, right? We see Pola with 2 full items as well as that Zeal on the Kai'Sa, which means I believe she does have the Q and E upgrades now in this game, which means that it's going to be a nice bit of attack speed and mobility for the Kai'Sa as we move towards this fourth dragon setup. And with Nameless Echo being on the map with this Baron, it should mean that they have first moved into the boss side here. Lost Cause is going to have this TP, but I honestly would like to see them here earlier. I know Baron is on the table, which means that the split is an option, but I would like to see them secure this soul and move towards this Elder Dragon earlier on in the game. Just because if you're able to get this Elder early, if you're Nameless Echo, right, there's no chance for, you're not giving Moonstone Gaming a chance to scale back into this game by farming, right? If you grab this dragon early, if you grab this dragon early, you can get the soul earlier, but it seems as though Moonstone has a different plan in mind as they are just charging towards Lost Cause.
Yeah, and I don't even think they can get Lost Cause either. Hook goes wide, and Lost Cause is just going to run out and say, hey, thanks for the soul, guys.
Yeah, Moonstone is not really... I mean, we saw hints of this in the first game, right? We saw them not really have solid map moves. We saw them get caught out trying to make rotations on players in side lanes. And as a result, they're going to overcommit to this top play, lose Dragon Soul and this bot tier 2. Which is going to be another 700 gold split amongst the members of Nameless Echo. And a very nice use of this Baron buff coming out from the blue side here means that they're going to balloon their gold lead to about 9,000 gold, if I'm doing my math correctly. And Ketty sitting on a spot without vision means that we could potentially see a fight here, but is instead going to just back up and play for resets. Each Moonstone or each Nameless member sitting on about 1,000 gold before recalling there means that the gold lead on map is going to be even bigger than it just was.
Yeah, and I mean, I would imagine that, well, I guess Baron's almost gone already, but I would imagine that Nameless should be able to close out this game before the next Baron spawns. However, I don't think they will because they saw what happened in game 1 and they don't want to throw the game. So I think they would rather take it slow and kind of just be methodical with the closeout rather than try and force it when they can.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. The last thing you want to be doing if you're Nameless right now is flipping an Elder Dragon. And I actually really like the way that Moonstone is playing this. They're looking for picks.
Boyfriend gets caught, gets rooted. That's a lot of CC. Do they have the damage to take him out, though? Demonic Ascension comes through. Gonna go golden. Chong trying to deal damage to the backside. Showstopper is massive. And Drat is gonna find Go on the backside. Chong is gonna fall as well. Giannis, the next member. Ping. And finally, Ovo is not even in the fight. But that's a 4-for-0 in favor of Moonstone. They should be able to end here.
Yeah, we see pings onto the base, charging down mid lane is 5. Ovo does have Flash and Cleanse and could potentially clear this wave as the Baron buff has timed out, but Nameless not going to let him get close to this wave. It means that they are going to take down the inhib and the inhib tower. Hesitation coming out from Nameless. Yeah, it looks like they're going to walk down onto the space. A nice 3-man stun coming up from Ovo. Flash from Lost Cause and a lot of tower damage. Means that they could go down, but are instead going to be taking this topside tower. With the respawns coming in, the base is going to go down. And that is going to be game 2 going over to Nameless Echo. A very nice bounce back from that first game throw.
Yeah, absolutely. Nameless coming out with a vengeance in game number 2 here. Just completely dismantling Moonstone across the map here. And, I see a lot of people in the comments talking about the Moonstone drafts.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
It was a little sus. I'll keep it a buck. It was a little sus, but you know what? Good on Nameless for bouncing back here, and we're going to game 3.
Yeah, very nicely played, and I honestly hope. I mean, we talked about at the end of the first game how not many draft changes needed to be made. I would like to see quite a few changes in draft made for both teams, if I'm being honest. I think that both teams sort of drafted themselves. They sort of confused themselves a little bit. I think Kaisa first pick is okay. I would have liked to have seen maybe the Sejuani. I don't know how much we value the Kaisa, considering we didn't really build a composition around her strengths. Similarly for Moonstone, right? You had that very fed Varus in the first game, as well as a very strong Nautilus to pair alongside it. I'm not really sure why we're breaking that combo up and switching it to something completely different when it showed success. But I mean, this is what the teams have to decide, in their time between games, and I'm curious to see what the teams come up with.
Yep, we are going to take a short break before we get into the pick and ban of game number 3. We will be right back. And we are back for game number 3. The pick and ban has already started. And you know what? They say history repeats itself. We got Lee Sin and Maokai taken away once again.
Oh, we have some stubborn teams here. They do not want to adapt their drafts at all. Maybe they're just worried about potential one tricks. But we have Lisa and Seraphine again for Nameless Echo. And I see like Moonstone's bans make sense to me. Seeing Maokai and Ash banned on red side makes sense. Lisa and Seraphine banned on blue side. A little bit less so, Seraphine especially. Especially if you're confident in playing something like a Silas that they showed last game, makes the Seraphine ban even more confusing to me. Either way, we're going to have the same bans from Nameless Echo in all 3 games if this Bard gets banned, and it will. With that said, let's see if, yep, Moonstone Gaming is going to lock in that Caitlyn. They said, yep, it's a problem in game 1, even though we beat it. We are going to ban it away, and we will see the run back.
Oh boy.
We will see the run back. I don't know how I feel about this. I didn't like it in game 1 or game 2, and I still don't like it.
We'll see what they do. We'll see if they made any adjustments to the draft here, or if they're gonna run it back once again. But I do like I do like Kaisa Swain. I think it's fine. I just want to see them play around bot a little more. I think.
Potentially, yeah. I would like to see this Varus again. We're not gonna see it. I guess they think that. I mean, the logic right from Moonstone is they see the Kaisa and they assume that Echo is going to build a composition
Whoa.
that is going to pile on top of them, and so they want to pick something like the Xayah to be able to come or let Echo come into their team and still survive. Karma is sort of along the same line where we sort of want to, survive your engage with the Mantra shields. But, it's going to be interesting, right? Because Nameless Echo do have the option now to pick up that Sejuani and go for another strong front line there. I don't think that they'll pick up the Swain this game because Blitzcrank was the pick from Moonstone Gaming, and Swain will no longer be able to be that frontline drain tank and abuse that Blitzcrank as much. I would like very much so to see that Nautilus to abuse the squishy characters in Xayah and Karma.
Yeah, and I think now is a good time to pick. Now I think for Nameless, you can pick an engaged support. Blitzcrank is fine. Takes away the Karma Shield. Nautilus is fine. Who else do we got? Okay, sure. Why not?
Yep,
Pike is fine too, just for damage. I like Pike Kaisa as a good strong bottom lane as well. A lot of opportunities to stack plasma.
In terms of
Um,
direct answers, I think Pike is a very good pick here. The only thing about Pike is that it's a lot less consistent than something like a Blitzcrank or a Nautilus. Just because the hook isn't as fast, you're a lot squishier on that champion. Yes, you get to ignore shields with the ultimate ability, and yes, you still do have hook set up for Kaisa. It's just going to be a lot harder to play, and with that Lilia locked in, I don't really like this pick. Because you've already shown that you sort of want to go backwards. I would have liked something with a little bit more frontline. Maybe like that Udyr that we had from that first game 1. It's just I don't know how I feel about the Lilia. I would have liked, I think, anything else. I would have liked Jarvan. I think I'm speaking as a jungler, right? So I have really strong opinions about jungle picks. I would have liked Jarvan more. I think Zach would have been better here. I even think Vi would have been better if you're trying to go forward and kite around, just because you don't really have any lockdown for Pike Kaisa, and I don't think you're going to get any unless you build really strong lockdown in these next 2 picks, something like a Lissandra or like a Malphite, which I hope gets banned here because I don't want to see it again.
yeah, I don't think. I don't think that'll be the case. Oh yeah, okay, there we go. So Malphite banned away there, and same kind of thing banned. We're not gonna see Silas again.
Man,
Yeah, you have. Yeah, do you want to speak for
I
yourself
have the
here?
script. I have the script. Sorry.
Okay.
I have the script. And to answer No Attack's question, Lilia to me does not seem like a champion to kite back on personally. Um, just because if you're kiting back on Lilia, I feel like you've already lost the space. But I mean, it could potentially be played out well with the Karma. You have the speed ups, you have the natural speed from from Lilia's passive rather, and we could see something like a Swain actually picked from Moonstone Gaming here. With the way that they've set up their team comp so far, it looks like they kind of want to be a kitey sort of we control the space sort of
Ooh.
team, and Ornn does match that idea. Right, you have the bellowing, you have like just the whole body of Ornn. You have the ultimate coming in to control the space, and allow sort of zone control for Moonstone and for Xayah to hit. It also is a very nice front line for Sejuani and Pyke because you're able just to be that body and you're able to eat CC and hooks. I'm curious to see what Nameless Echo can go for. Maybe something like a set would be good. I was thinking maybe like a Mordekaiser just because you are a little bit short on AP damage for Nameless Echo. But they could pull out some very strong AP in the mid lane, something maybe again like a Lissandra. Actually, probably more so like a Kassadin, if I'm thinking anything, just because Moonstone. No, I'm wrong.
Victor
Absolutely wrong.
works, cast. I mean, just any sort of like hyper scaling AP, even Ace Soul, honestly. After the rework, that champ is insane.
If Asol was enabled, it could have potentially been a good pick
Oh,
here.
okay. Well, I
But
guess
Cassio is going to be the pick, and so it seems that Nameless Echo is trying to be a two-way team. They're trying to both go forward and kite back with this Cassio pick. I'm a little bit lost, but I guess
I mean,
it is a nice counter to Ornn and is potentially flexed with this set if Moonstone pick a melee mid laner. Cassio is sort of a very niche counter to Ornn. If your top laner plays it. But I don't think that's what Nameless Echo thought when they picked it. I think they just thought it'd be a very nice answer. And Annie is going to be the pickup from
oh,
Moonstone. Did have a very good first game one on it. But with the Annie pickup, they are very long on AP on this top side here. You have Ornn, Annie, Lilia, which means that this set and Sejuani are going to be able to build so much magic resistance that really only Xayah is going to be able to deal with them. But I like the composition from Moonstone. I think it's very well rounded. I think they have a nice bit of engage. I think they can kite and hold the space very well. I think they have good scaling with the Lilia, Ornn, and Xayah. And with their damage profile, they will cause problems for Echo later on in this game.
yeah. I think it'll be interesting here because, like you said, with Moonstone, kind of the same idea as last game. You only have Xayah for AD damage. So again, it's gonna be on Chong to get ahead and stay ahead in this game, just because Xayah needs. Otherwise, yeah, MR for days here. Um, and I think Annie is just a classic pick, risen in popularity so much. We even saw it in game one already, and I liked Ovo on the Annie. I don't know what you think, but personally, I think it looks good, and I think it's just such a versatile champion here that you know it it's good in all, if not all, most circumstances.
Yeah. I don't know the ranges of Annie and Cassiopeia. I know Cassio is fairly low range, and I know that Annie has a long auto attack range, but I don't think her spells are that long range. Um, so could potentially be interesting to find out what the dynamic of that matchup is. But it looks like, Lost Cause is going to be beating down the top laner of Moonstone Gaming again this game with that set pick. Being red side for 3 games in a row makes your top laner very sad because you just have to blind pick tanks on repeat. And it's not a fun
Yeah,
existence. But at least in this game, they get to play the melee assassin mage, whatever, X number of titles there in the Ornn. But yeah, I mean, like I was saying in draft, like I really do like how Moonstone has rounded out their composition. It is a much more solid draft than what they showed last game. It doesn't really have one exact identity, but it sort of has a good overall composition. Much more so than Nameless Echo. They sort of are relying on snowballing the game in order to stay in the fight. They sort of have 2 methods of winning this game, right? they can either snowball the game really hard overall in the map, just win by having more gold and being further ahead on XP, or they can try and dive this bot lane on repeat, make the AD, Source, and Xayah useless, and then just build full MR. But both are kind of hard and inconsistent to do, especially when Xayah and Karma are so good at surviving pressure. But we will see, what they decide to do as we move into the game, right?
Well, right now,
Ooh.
Karma's locked in mid.
That is true.
So we
Annie
might
is
get
a
any
support.
support. We might get any support here. We'll see.
I think I like that
Potential. Yeah, potential flex pick here. We're gonna see as everyone's locked in now. So they got about 30 seconds for themselves to decide where they actually want to go with that pick.
I think
I
like
would
this
say
pick up
vote,
less,
but
personally.
I would wait. I would wait until we got the rosters confirmed to vote, because I think
We'll tell you when it's 20 seconds, but
Annie
think I
does
like
make a
this
big
less.
difference versus Karma.
Yeah, I think I like it less when you have the Andy support, just because Karma can poke out the pike a lot more. And the way that this is set up currently, I think you would much rather have your Annie with more gold than your Karma.
All right, yeah.
All right, well,
Annie locked in support.
Yeah.
Karma mid. So with that being said, get your votes in. We're gonna take a short break for the spectator delay, but we will be back on the Rift for game 3 between Moonstone and Nameless Echo shortly. So don't go anywhere.
era of metal has begun, and metal shall prevail. For we know.
And we are on to the Rift for game number 3 between Nameless and Moonstone Gaming here. Another 5 members bot.
Oh, we're all in
Both
the
of these
bush
teams.
this time.
We're all here. We're ready. Ready for action here. As Hook comes through, Goal gets pulled back. He's going to go down. First blood goes over to Drat. Lost Cause having to flash out 1 HP. For now, 1 for 0 in favor of Nameless Echo. And looks like that's all we're going to get.
That kill goes on to Drat, which means that they're going to be able to pick up a Doran's Ring alongside their tier to start this game. And that is going to be so nice for this Casio. No, please don't buy a Ruby Crystal. No, no. Oh, Jesus, man.
He bought the Ruby
Okay.
Crystal.
Okay, I'm wrong. I'm going to hang up my color casting career. But I don't know why they bought a Ruby Crystal that literally does nothing for them into the Karma lane. Anyway, that level 1 is only going to burn 1 flash, 2 flashes in the game onto the Annie and onto the Pike, so supports are flashless now. And junglers will start on their top sides, which means that bot lane will be a fiesta later on into the game. Again, both junglers knowing that the supports have no flashes means that it's going to be spicy as we move into this game. Boyfriend did get that nice hook onto Guo, who decided not to flash at that level 1. But as a result, we have some pressure coming on. Pike gonna land the hook, potentially?
Oh!
Oh.
Hook goes wide.
But as a
both of
Chung's
these
been going.
supports, both of these supports take it so low here. Boyfriend's gonna heal up a bit easier than Ping will, but nonetheless, support HP bar is quite low after that trade, and Ola definitely took the worst of it when it comes to AD carries.
Very nice use of that sweeper, actually, by Boyfriend to kill the vision in that bush so Chong could no longer auto them. Will mean that Boyfriend has a bit more HP and is already going to be back up to full health, only having to use 1 potion, whereas Ping has been forced to use both potions and is just barely getting back up to about 80% health now. But what's really important right now in this game is that both junglers are pathing away from top, which means Lost Cause is going to be allowed to put as much hurt onto real Giannis as this set is able to do, which, you know, in my experience is quite a lot of pain. But something interesting to note now is Ketty has skipped their bot side camps beside the red buff and is going to be looking onto this bot side there. Remember, Ping has no flash, which means that this could be potentially very dangerous. Ooh.
Okay, getting the flash out of Chong. Stun comes through, but Chong gonna get aggressed on here, gonna get stunned up. Nice usage of the cleanse to get out of the stun from Ketty. And for the time being, only the summoner spells from Chong utilized in that play.
And I'm a little bit
flash from
surprised.
Ketty.
I'm a little surprised we go on to the Zaya there when we know Annie has no flash. And I think a little bit of short-term memory loss there from Chong as well means that they're forced to use their flash early, because I think they might have not remembered that Boyfriend blew their flash in that level 1 and were worried about getting the Pike E flash stun on them. But either way, force the sums off of the Zaya means that Ketty now has a free gank if they decide to go for it. And I don't think that Moonstone is ready for this. Ping is going to get caught out.
Yeah, Ping should die here. Hook lands, connects in, no flash. And this kill should go over to Pola, and it does. So now Kaisa sitting at 1-0-1 in this game. And Nameless looking just like they did in game 2. Looking strong.
Yeah, we talked about it in draft, right? The way that they win this game is they get snowballing early and they shut this Zaya down. They're trying to do 2-1 here as Boyfriend is going to land this hook. No flash on Zaya means that she could go down here.
In? Oh, man. 1 or 2 too many of those Akathi and Rain procs went onto the minions there. That is a disaster. Pola does not find the damage on Chong, lives just barely, but nonetheless a big lead for Nameless in this bottom lane and in the game about 700 at just under 5 minutes.
I think there was definitely a misplay there from Nameless. I think maybe Boyfriend could have gotten in one more auto, or Pola could have waited maybe a little bit longer before casting out a Akathi and Rain. And we're talking about last game, right? And this is sort of what we saw last game too, right? We saw Lost Cause on that set be able to do a whole lot into the tank matchup, but real Giannis doing a whole lot of damage on these tanks means that Lost Cause is really abusing this set health regeneration passive to the max.
And with Guo here, I think Nameless, or sorry, I think Moonstone thinks that Sejuani could be up here while Giannis is trying to crash this wave, but could be pleasantly surprised with the fact that there is no Sejuani waiting, but a 3-man mid.
Play mid. This looks pretty good here as Ovo is gonna have to get the flash out. Ping is gonna get taken down, but whoa, Boyfriend just got killed out of nowhere now. And Ping will have to burn both summoners to get out of that play, but Boyfriend just getting caught under the tower.
Yeah, I think he got stunned in her tower and took a tower shot as well as a Mantra Q from Ovo. Means that the Pyke is going to go down and give a kill over to this Karma, who is going to scale nicely in this game. And with that kill, we'll be able to move towards those supportive items much faster in this game. I'm really curious to see what Ovo decides to do because I've seen some people do some pretty grief stuff on Karma mid. They go... Okay. I was going to say they go for Night Harvester or Ludens or things along those lines when Radiant Virtue is the most broken item on Karma in the game. Yes, you're playing Karma mid, and yes, you know, you do AP damage, but those two things are separate, right? Karma has such crazy high base damage that you do not need to be building AP on her, is my opinion, right? You have enough AP damage in your Annie and in your, in your Lilia, sorry, I forgot the name for a second, that you don't need to be going for more damage on this Karma. It's... okay, this could be interesting, actually. Polo pushed out a lane by Ping. Ping, no flash.
Whoa, Boyfriend with the flash. Finds Ping. Ping has no flash either, like you said. Should go down. Wow, the level up was crazy timing there, but it doesn't matter. As now, Guo gonna get stunned, but we'll be able to scamper away.
Yeah, using that phase rush to the best of their ability to get in and get out of that trade as fast as possible. I'm getting some pushback in chat about my comments about Karma, but I still believe that Karma's base damages are high enough and there's enough AP damage in this game that it's really not needed. I know that Radiant on Karma did get nerfed, but even still, the tankiness to be able to frontline alongside, your carries is going to be very important in this game just because of how much potential, how much potential damage can come out in a fight from Nameless if they go long. I'm trying to think about how this game is going. Giannis does find Lost Cause here. Lost Cause does have...
Look at this damage. This is a lot of damage traded back. Uh-oh. But Guo is here. Sapling goes wide, but look at this. Ovo is here and will find enough to take down Lost Cause there. Guo gets the kill.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit greedy on that ultimate. I think holding it for a very long time could have potentially sent it immediately onto the Karma when Ovo showed up there. Instead, trying to exit the fight the other way. But either way, gets a kill onto the Lilia there. Is going to be very nice for the scaling of the Deer. Not talking about Udyr, I'm talking about the Lilia. But, oh my goodness, Boyfriend going for some very aggressive hooks in this game so far. But, I mean, nothing too crazy has happened in this game. Only a 300 gold lead for the side of Nameless means that Moonstone is very much so stuck in this game. Or not stuck in this game, is still in this game, rather. I don't know why I said it like that. But they are going to be able to get this dragon started, which is going to be very good for them. Remember, looking at just items, Kaisa is very far ahead in this early game, which means that Nameless is going to have the priority on this bot side. Boyfriend is going to potentially look onto Lilia. Lilia does not flash over the wall there.
Oh, nice CC chain there. And Guo's just going to go down. Another kill going over to Pola.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you're Guo, you have to be just a little bit more patient there and try and walk closer to the wall. You're not going to get one shot from getting stunned like that, but you are going to get killed if you miss that flash. And, they were punished, right? Missed the flash, got stunned, and hooked, and we're just dead, right? And we're going to see a lot of damage coming out from Boyfriend soon because they have been getting a whole lot of work done on this map so far, and we'll be getting towards that level 6 very soon. Ping doing a nice job holding on to the stun to dissuade Boyfriend from going for those relic stacks. But something interesting to note is that the Pyke has gone for Swifties in this game, which I don't really know how I feel about it. Yes, you do have the slows from Karma and from Lilia, but I don't think that will be the deciding factor. I think if you went for boots, I would have liked to have seen something maybe more like...
Ooh. Ping with the flash in. Boyfriend not going to find any stuns up there, and Pola will have to use the cleanse to get out of the sleep from Lilia there. Nice dive coming through from Moonstone.
Yeah, very nice dive coming in from Moonstone means that the bot lane of Nameless is going to get shut down a little bit there. Kaisa doing a nice job of being able to survive means that no shutdown goes over towards the Moonstone members. But Boyfriend, I was going to say, I would have liked to have seen maybe something more like Merc Treads if they're going to go for early boots just because of how much magic damage NCC is on this Moonstone roster. I don't know how I feel about Guo hovering this play. I think even if they were able to, stop, an aggression from Ketty, they don't nearly have enough health to make it happen. I think Moonstone's getting baited here.
Maybe Chong's gonna get stunned up. Pola can't really enter just because they're so low. And yeah, I mean, I think you have a good point there. Is there's really no way to continue forward, especially with Ketty, not diving fully deep in.
Yeah. And just looking at the way that this play has built out, right? You have a very nice bit of scaling coming in from Pola, working towards what I believe will probably be that Kraken Slayer again. At least I assume it'll be the Kraken Slayer again on this Kaisa, just because of how much damage it gives you in the overall fights that are going to happen, right? You are going to be trying to burn through this Ornn, this Karma, and this Annie, who are all going to be pretty tanky with their shields and health that they're going to build. But, I mean, looking at the overall game, right, we are dead even on gold between these two teams. And honestly, this is going great for Moonstone, right? We talked about it in draft, how they have the better scaling team. They have a better, more rounded composition, and Guo is already back on this bot side despite having their entire jungle up.
Oh, here we go. Nice again. CC luck coming through from Boyfriend and Ketty. They're going to find another kill, another pick onto Guo.
Yeah, another pick onto Guo. Unfortunately, getting hooked over the wall there is going to mean that this Lilia is forced back to base again. And is going to fall, and is going to potentially start to fall behind. Oh, hold on.
Oh, wait a minute. Ping is going to get CC'd up. And this combination of Boyfriend and Ketty has been really, really brutal for Moonstone.
Yeah, and I think Ping thought that there was a minion in front of them, or maybe that blue side minion was one of their own. Was not prepared at all to try and dodge that hook coming out from Boyfriend. And as a result, this is going to start looking really good for Moonstone as they're able to get 1,000 gold on those two plays alone. And what I was going to say before this play is that Guo is going to fall really far behind in tempo because this Sejuani does not need nearly as much gold as the Lilia to be relevant in this game. And if she's not able to farm, then the Lilia will start to fall behind in usefulness in this game and could potentially lead to a underdeveloped carry coming out of the jungle there. And I mean, realistically, the only way that Moonstone can lose this game is if they are not allowed to get to their scaling, right? Karma is going to finish up the Leandries, which is a little bit strange in this game. While, again, the burn and the CDR is nice, there's no tanks really for her to burn down besides the Sejuani. I would have much rather seen something more supportive from her. Maybe like a Moonstone, maybe like a Radiant Virtue, just because, you have these carries in the game already. You have the Lilia, who has already finished her Leandries herself and is going to be able to put out much more consistent AP damage, as Ping is potentially going to get caught out here.
He has the stun available. He's going to use it on Ketty. We'll see if Kaisa comes flying in as Ovo is also here, rotating in. Ketty could be in trouble here as the stun comes through. Tibbers is going to do a lot of damage now. Teleport coming in. Pola is going to go to sleep, but a nice glacial prism in. Hook comes through on to real Giannis. As not going to find the knockups there. Will get stunned up. Wonder how the backside of this fight is going here as the forward guard will be called in. But a nice usage of the showstopper will disallow Giannis to get that second call in, and the resets are coming now. One comes through. Whoa, chasing in, flashing forward, gonna get hooked back. A second kill for Boyfriend. Ping flashing in as well, trying to find Drat, but cannot yet. Will Tibbers? One more auto, potentially. Yes, it will with the burn. And that's 3 for 3 all around.
Yeah, a very brawly fight coming out from both teams here. Pola pushed out of the fight early by a lilting lullaby from Guo, and then Guo getting very aggressive with the flash blooming blows onto 3. Granted, it was a nice flash Q, but it was not really followed up by anything meaningful as the Lilia was instantly taken down. And really, Giannis getting in there, getting CC'd through the entire cast of their ultimate ability means that no knockups were able to come through from the Ornn. And this is great if you are Moonstone, right? The Xayah lived throughout the whole fight. She was able to pick up a kill or two. The Annie with the rage on Tibbers was also able to knock down this Cassio. The only thing that you are wishing for if you are Moonstone is if you were able to get this shutdown off of Kaisa. But with the slow recalls from the two members of Nameless, it just means that Moonstone is able to get into this bot side river, and here comes
Lost Cause onto Ping. Yeah, Ping is just going to go down here. Tibbers with their dying breath is not enough, and this second dragon of the game is going to go over to Nameless again.
Yeah, and a very nicely done by Nameless. They knew they had the TP on Cassio to move everyone towards this bot side and defend the dragon take. Even if Lost Cause was late to the lane, they were going to be able to use Drat to TP up to the top side.
Boyfriend again! Another hook connects and another pick results from it.
Yeah, and that pick is going to mean Herald for the side of Nameless Echo. Just doing a very nice, clean job of baiting these fights in on an overconfident Moonstone Gaming means that Nameless is going to start snowballing in this game very hard. A 4,000 gold lead now for the blue side means that this snowball has really and truly begun. And looking at the way that these compositions have rounded out, you have a very fed Kaisa and Pyke on this bot side who are really doing their best to play around the whole game. No flash onto Xayah means that she is probably going to be forced to feathers from this.
Yeah, that's not enough though. I mean, one auto, there you go. Lost Cause finds the solo kill onto the Xayah, and here we go. Let's see what Ping has here as Herald spawned up in the mid lane.
I'm going to tell you right now, it's not much.
Not much for the time being.
Is going to burn their stun on 2 melee minions, though. Does have Tibbers available if Lilia decides to move down to the spot side. They have pulled Giannis down from the top side to try and make this play on mid, but it doesn't look like anything is going to happen for it, and Ornn is instead just going...
Oh, Ping? Boyfriend? Might go down again, but Pola, a lot of damage on to this Kaisa, but Boyfriend finds the reset once again. Lost Cause going after Chong for the second time in a row, and Chong will be able to get out.
Yeah, but the fact that Lost Cause is able to walk out of this fight is really bad for Moonstone Gaming because they pulled Giannis all the way from topside, and this Ornn has made a trek across the entirety of Summoner's Rift to not do anything but help both with their blue buff. And as a result, I'm pretty sure this Cassio is going to be able to drop the top tower and get a nice amount of gold into her pockets. Already finishing up that Rod of the Ages, and is going to be able to pick up the Archangel Staff most likely on this recall here. Sitting on 2,000 gold is this Cassiopeia, scaling very nicely into this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, and you know, you see that Rod of the Ages picked up. It's got 4 stacks on it. The tier is fully stacked as well here. So once that Muramana comes in, sorry, not Muramana, Archangel Staff comes in, Drat is gonna feel really good. And you know, they were even able to get Pola very far ahead in this game, and that's kind of what we talked about wanting to see, right? We wanted to see this Kaisa getting ahead. We want to see them playing for the Kaisa, and Ketty's done a good job of that this game.
Yeah, and what I really like about Nameless's team right now is that they have a lot of supportive damage. They have a lot of people who are able to drop members of Moonstone Gaming into range for Boyfriend to get, you know, their death from below off. And as a result, you know, we could be seeing a whole lot of shared gold come out from this Pyke in the game. And this gold lead just keeps growing, right? We're already up to 7,000 gold, I believe, is the gold lead in the game so far. Not really able to do much with this Annie off from the bot side. Or with, you know, this Ornn, right? You have this massive, you know, utility ability in the Call of the Forge God, and you're not able to get anything done with it, right? The only time I think we've seen it used was when they were fighting on the bot side jungle, and Giannis was CC'd for the entirety of that ultimate cast. And I mean, hopefully, you know, with the dragon spawning in a minute's time and Giannis already being on this side of the map, we can maybe see a bit more from this top laner here. But just a very nice play and setup overall from Nameless, as they are playing it pretty slow and pretty consistently, not trying to throw this game by any means.
Yeah, and they do have that 7,000 gold lead, which is
that the biggest one we've seen this series? Like before,
I think it was
a massive-
7K last game as well.
but like before the game is completely broken open.
Maybe, yeah. This is a pretty big lead here. Drat might be getting caught out.
Forced to
We'll
flash
burn that
away.
flash.
Yeah.
Oh, but look at the rest of Nameless straight onto the Baron.
They do have the damage to do this, actually, between the Kraken Slayer and the Borg, between their top and bot laners. We saw this in game 1. We saw Drat pull the entirety of Moonstone towards one side of the map.
Wow.
And we're going to see it again in this game as Call of the Forge God only finds the Pike.
Uh-oh, Lost Cause put to sleep, though. Ketty has to run as well. Lost Cause is going to have to just burn that flash to get away. And it looks like Nameless gets away with murder here and gets out with the Baron.
Well, what's amazing, right, is that we're going to have TP on Lost Cause, and Kai'Sa is already back, which means that Nameless aren't even giving up this dragon necessarily. They could still be around to contest it if Moonstone decide to go for it right now. We have Kai'Sa on the map, we have Sejuani. The only ultimate ability that was used on the side of Nameless was the Glacial Prison on the Sejuani there, but TP coming in from Lost Cause.
Here we go. A fight against this dragon. Lost Cause is on the flank here, and Ping is gonna go down. Lost Cause has that showstopper available. That's a giant haymaker there as Guo and Chong go down to about the 1/4 HP, and Chong is gonna go down to Drat. Dragon secured by Nameless, and it's only a matter of time before they close this game out. They are fully in control.
Yeah, and this is really the wallet difference being shown here for Nameless Echo. They had the ultimate abilities ready from that Baron fight, and were able to use them there to secure the dragon and pick up, I believe, 2 kills alongside, because they were able to drop the bot lane of Moonstone. Incoming seed from Guo doesn't do much except land onto Ketty. But this is interesting because, I mean, we talked about it in draft, right? We thought that Moonstone was going to have a much better overall composition, but Nameless has really made, at least me, eat my words from draft, because they're performing very well and they're using the tools that they have on this team to the best of their ability. They have found great picks with Boyfriend and Ketty. They've been able to feed Pola some very nice kills and assist money from that Pike, and have snowballed to, you know, a very great advantage and are doing a great job in this game. And honestly, I'm curious because they lost their first series, but brought it to 3 games. And I'm curious to see how those games went, actually, because I didn't look at them before this series, but I feel like they must have been close if this is the way that they're playing now.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, you can see that they do look strong in that 3-game series, and just 1 game, even throwing the game. Oh, here we go. Ketty looking for it, gonna find the stun onto Ping. Ping is just gonna get one-shotted here as Boyfriend gets another reset. Pola's gonna go to sleep. Featherstorm is not gonna do anything though, as Pola is just running over Moonstone Gaming right now. 4 members strong onto this mid lane inhibitor tower. I think they have possibilities to get more than just the inhib here if they want.
That was so clean from Pola, just cleansing the sleep from Lilia and being able to flash away from the Xayah feathers and really kite around Chong's auto attacks. Just doing a really nice job showing their mastery of the champion and of those different abilities that they had. And I think they're just going to be able to drop this 1 inhib. I think they're a little bit too low on health to consistently take down this topside tower. Are going to take away the red buff and the Krugs from Moonstone, but this is obviously great gameplay coming out from Nameless Echo, rather. Just showing the complete dominance in this game 3, making sure that the blunders of game 1 do not come back to haunt them whatsoever, and I'm impressed. I'm truly impressed from what I've seen so far this game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, deathless for Ketty and for Pola in this game, and I think the carries for Nameless look really strong today.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a great job. Looking just overall at the items, right? We have 2 full items on this set in the top side. I mean, massive item difference. Just look at the 80 carries. Kai'Sa's on 3 full items, while Xayah is barely trying to finish up their Navori Quick Blades. Might not even get them by the time this next dragon spawns. Still about 300 gold away from finishing it. And I don't think they'll be able to pick up that item before the dragon spawns. And Guo could be caught here.
Nah, I don't think Boyfriend's gonna go that far, but now Giannis is caught here. I mean, there are a lot of people rotating onto Giannis here. Nice usage of the unstoppable, still gonna get stunned up, gonna get stunned again here. This is a really tanky Ornn, but Pola just cutting through. Nice flash away to get to the reset, but oh my gosh, look at the damage. Forge God hits 3. This Polo's gonna go godlike. Giannis will fall, but Lost Cause will as well, and the rest of Nameless are running down here. Boyfriend flashing forward to find the kill onto Chong as you're going under the tower. Ping will fall as well. A triple kill comes through for Pola, and they can end mid here. I think Nameless should be able to close this one out, as Ovo is the only remaining member of Moonstone Gaming left. Still 20 seconds on everyone else.
Yeah, they absolutely should. There's no way that Ovo is going to be able to take down this super minion in time before Nameless drop these towers. Kenny could potentially fall if they're not careful. Boyfriend as well is going to try and use that Pike passive to heal up from the book of Ovo, but I don't think they should be afraid. I think they should just be able to fully hit this tower. There's 6 seconds onto the Xayah here. Pola is going to take a whole lot of damage and could potentially throw their life. It's not going to happen, especially with Lost Cause TPing in now. I think this game is going to be wraps for Nameless Echo. Very cleanly done and a very nice finish.
Absolutely there. And wow, Moonstone looking like a completely different team than they did in game 1.
Yeah, very nicely played. I mean, they still, had good signs in that first game. Just had a little bit of an issue closing out the series, but did a very nice job in games 2 and 3 to show that that first game was a complete fluke, and that they were not going to make those mistakes again. A fairly dominant games 2 and 3 here coming out from Nameless Echo, and a very nicely played series overall.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we are going to get an interview, but first we will take a short break just so we can get that all figured out here. So yeah, don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss this interview with one of the members of the winning team.
Mm-hmm.
Five legends of our realm who sought to follow the path of their dark musings. But they did not know what they had summoned. Pentakill. To these creatures, there is but one thing left to do. Heavy metal.
And we are back with the Nameless Echo support. Boyfriend, aka Miles, congratulations on the series win today.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Miles, I had a couple questions for you this game. We were really curious, going through these drafts and sort of wondering what was going on in your guys' head, that made you have the confidence to keep, same side selection, throughout the entire series, as well as your bands remaining the same. Um, was there any thought to that, or were you guys just really confident that you had answers to their picks, that you were leaving up?
Uh, yeah, we were confident in the picks. We were confident that we could pick things and that they wouldn't really be able to respond. Kind of kept the same bands, keep their mid laner out. And yeah, blue side all 3 games was very fortunate after they lost and took red side willingly when we were demolishing them on.
I mean, yeah, you guys seem to be dominating that bot lane, throughout the entire series. I did like the adaptation in this last game to go for the Pike. I personally had wished for something maybe a little bit more consistent as a hook champion, but you were able to pilot that really well and make use of your death from below. But just I wanted to talk about sort of how you guys were able to. You guys have had 2 3-game series so far in CCS, and I wanted to just first of all wanted to credit your mental for being able to play out full series. But can you guys can you take me through sort of like what it's like in between games for you guys? How are you able to keep your mental, especially after a game 1 loss like you guys suffered today?
Uh, even after that game 1 loss, we were feeling pretty confident. Less of a loss because they played good, more because we kind of threw it. So we were feeling confident that we could just repeat and fix those holes. Kept our mental up and made the reverse sweep happen for content.
Nice. Nameless trying to compete with Dorado for that content org status. Very nicely done. Way to bounce back and maintain your mental, throughout the entire series. You guys played really well. And Miles, I just wanted to ask if you had any shoutouts before we let you go for the evening. I'm sure you were tired after that banger of a series. But yeah, thank you. If you have any shoutouts, feel free to let them fly, and we will get you out of here.
Uh, Shout out to my team, I guess. Guys are pog.
Huge. Huge.
All right. Well, you've heard it here first. Shout out to the team Nameless Echo taking the 3-game series by a score of 2-1. That's gonna be it for us today on CCS. I've been Raches, joined by Seth. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream, enjoyed the games. Have a great week, and we will see you next time.